1 minute to come from the restroom. All right. Okay. हस्ता अमलकवत्तत्वं श्रीमद्भागवतस्य यः दर्शयामास जीवेभ्यस्तं श्रीजीवप्रभुं नुमः सन्दर्भायेन नाधीता तस्य भागवते श्रमः सन्दर्भायेन चाधीता नास्ति भागवते भ्रमः. Okay. Yeah, so we are Anuched 14. We are on 15 actually. Yeah. So 15 is that the origin of the Itihasas, Puranas and Vedas is the same. So the same point, like he is repeating. So it is called the principle of this thing. What do you say? Like pole. Have you seen pole?
Yes, I have seen.
Like putting the pole in the ground. Like if you have to heat a flag, right? You have to put a pole in the ground. So the way they put a pole is that like they put the pole, but then after that you will keep on hitting it so that it goes deep into the ground, right? So you will hit the same pole only again and again and again so that it goes deep into the ground, because if it doesn't go deep, if it just goes little bit, then after some time it can shake and fall down. But if it goes very deep into the ground, then it will not shake or fall. So similarly, if we see that Anuched 14 or Anuched 13, so you will think that Anuched 15 also he is saying the same thing only.
Yes.
Right? Because Anuched 15 is the origin of the Itihas, Puranas and Vedas is the same. And Anuched 14 was the Itihasas and Puranas are the fifth Veda. So that was Anuched 14, that they are the fifth Veda. And Anuched 13 is the Itihasas and Puranas are Vedic. Right? So we will see that Anuched 13, 14 and 15 are the same. So we may wonder that why he is repeating the same thing, but it is like hitting a pole or like when you hit a nail on the door, right? It's not that you just hit it only once and leave it, right? You will hit the nail like 2-3 times till it goes very deep inside, right? Like if you have to hit a nail on the wall, so you will put a nail and then you will hit it once or twice, it goes inside. And after that, you will put like 3-4 extra things so that it goes very deep. So similarly, he has explained it, but now he is hitting the nail again and again so that it goes very deep into our mind. So similarly, the Vayavya Samhita of Shiva Puran in the Vedic nature of the Puranas by mentioning their appearance along with the Vedas. The ingenious Lord abridged the Veda and then divided it, Vyasta, into 4. Therefore, he became known as Vyas. So Veda Vyas means who divided the Vedas into 4. So his name became Veda Vyas. Actually, his name was Krishna Dvaipayana. So Dvaipayana means he was born in an island. So his name was Krishna Dvaipayana. Like his complexion was blackish and he was born in an island. So his name was Krishna Dvaipayana. And since he divided the Veda, his name became Veda Vyas. So we call him Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas. He also condensed the Puranas into 400,000 verses, which still number 1 billion verses in the immortal realm, Shiva Purana. So here the word Sankshipta, condensed, implies condensed by him. So the Vedas, the Puranas, it was condensed by him. Veda Vyas. Okay. The names of the various Puranas, Kanda, Agni, and so on, refer to their original speakers. So we have heard, right? Skanda Puran, Agni Puran. So what does it mean? Because if the Puranas are compiled by Veda Vyas, right? Veda Vyas compile them, then what is the meaning of Skanda Puran? What is the main meaning of Agni Puran? So Skanda is this Kartikeya. I think he is called in Tamil Nadu, he is called Murugan.
Yes, bro.
Kartikeya, right? And
Mm.
Agni is that god of uh, demigod of fire. So, so the question comes that if the Puranas were compiled by Veda Vyas, so why do we call him Skanda Puran or Agni Puran? So it refers to their original speakers. Like somebody might have told the story. So Skanda was the first who told the story, and the story was going on, and people just heard and remembered. So in the case of Veda Vyas, he just wrote it down. And since Skanda was the original speaker, so he called it Skanda Puran. Okay.
Mm.
As with the Katha Upanishad, which was promulgated by the sage Katha. So similarly, this Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, is first it was spoken by this sage named Katha, and it was like that. It was coming down. So finally, when Veda Vyas compiled it, compiled that Upanishad, so he named this Katha Upanishad. Alternatively, the name may refer to the person who arranged the Puranas contents. The reason the Puranas are occasionally described as impermanent is that they are sometimes manifest and sometimes not. In this way, by the arguments and evidence provided in Anuchedas 13, 14, and 15.12, the Vedic nature of the Itihasas and Puranas is established. So the Itihasas and Puranas are Vedic, we understand here. In spite of this fact, Suta and others who are not twice born, okay, are eligible to recite the Puranas in the same way that every person is eligible to chant Sri Krishna's holy name. So to chant Sri Krishna's holy name, one need not be a Brahmana. Like anyone can chant Krishna's holy name. So similarly, anyone can read the Puranas. Like one did not be a Brahmana to read the Puranas. Okay, and Sri Krishna's holy name is the transcendental fruit of the creeper of all the Vedas, as stated in the Prabhas Khanda of Skanda Puran. Yeah, yeah, this is important verse. Madhura Madhuram Etan Mangalam Mangalanam Sakala Nigama Valli Satphalam Chit Swarupam Sakrit Api Parigitam Shraddhaya Helayava Bhrigu Varanara Matram Tarayet Krishna Nama. Is saying, O best of the Bhrigu dynasty, the holy name of Krishna is the sweetest of the sweet and the most auspicious of the auspicious. It is the transcendental fruit of the creeper of all the Vedas and is purely of the nature of consciousness. So the holy name of Krishna is conscious. I mean, when we are chanting Krishna's name and we are praying to the name, so the name is conscious, means name is hearing our prayer and will reciprocate. So eternally self-manifest. So self-manifest, self manifest means like whenever it wants, it can manifest. Like for example, it can manifest in the tongue of Gajendra. So generally, elephants don't speak, but when it manifests, Gajendra started reciting prayers and self-existing. Okay, and hence prior to phenomenal existence. So when the material world was not there, still the holy name of Krishna was there. Whoever chants it but once, whether as an intentional act born of faith or inadvertently, is liberated. Yes. But so whoever chants Krishna's name, whether intention or uh, with faith or just like that, inadvertently, he is liberated. But now here we have to understand that whoever chants his name without offenses, he is liberated. So in our case, even though we are chanting, we are not liberated because we are chanting with offenses. So, uh, like this part will uh, become clear in the fifth book, Bhakti Sandarbha, like what are the offenses. But in short, we can remember that there are 10 offenses, and the first offense is to criticize the devotees. So that's why, yeah, we all have to be um, careful that we do not criticize devotees, because we see like many organizations and everything, and other people may criticize us, but we should not again criticize them back, because if they are criticizing us, they are committing offenses. So the name will not be a result. In our case, also, if we again fight back and criticize them, it will not bring result. So that is the like first offense, and that is the most what we do. In practical life, like that's what we do. Vishnu Dharma Purana states a person who chants the two syllables Hari has already completed the study of the Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Veda. And Vishnu Puran affirms that the Puranas and Itihasas establish the meaning of the Vedas. On the pretext of writing Mahabharata, Srila Vyasa has explained the meaning of the Vedas. Where? In the Bhagavad Gita. Like Mahabharata is so many stories, right? But actually, he wrote so many stories that people will be interested to read the stories, and finally, they come to read the Bhagavad Gita, where Srila Vyasa has explained the meaning of the Vedas. Without doubt, all the Vedas are firmly established in the Puranas. Moreover, even if we count the Itihasas and Puranas among the revealed texts, okay, that illuminate the meaning of the Vedas, they are still unique because of the extraordinary distinction of the one who manifested them, that is Vyasa. So since Vyasa manifested, like if Vyasa manifested the Itihasas and Puranas, still they are unique, because Vyasa was very unique, because he is the one who compiled all the Vedas. So if the same Vyasa compiled the Itihasas and Puranas, then we can take them as authoritative. Padma Puran says, Brahma and others are unaware of what Bhagavan Vedavyas knows. Indeed, he knows everything known to others as well as that which is beyond everyone else's grasp. So Vyasa was that kind, like so elevated. Actually, it is said that he is the literary incarnation of Krishna. Like he got Krishna's Shakti, like descended in him to write the Vedas, Itihasas, and Puranas. Okay, let's see how. Okay, commentary is small. The word Sangshipta in the verse cited here from Shiva Puran is significant. It means condensed, not composed. So composed means what somebody writes from the mind, and condensed means it is already there, but he just summarizes. Srila Veda Vyas, who is a divine descent of God, avatar, condensed the already existing Vedas. Then he took unused verses from that abridged portion and compiled them into the Puranas. Thus, he did not formulate the Puranas as an original composition. So, original composition means it was originally written by him. It is not like that. It was already there, he just summarized. This confirms that the Puranas, by virtue of their transcendental origin, are equal to the four Vedas. They are eternal and apaurushaya. Like there was only one Veda, right? He divided into four part that knowledge, and then whatever knowledge was not used, he again used that to make that Itihasas and Puranas. So basically, they are eternal and apaurushaya. This is the meaning. One may protest that since the Puranas have names such as Skanda and Agni, so Skanda Purans means spoken by uh, Murugan, and Agni Puran means spoken by Agni. So we are saying that they are apaurushaya, right? But it seems they are spoken by a Purush, right? It is spoken by Skanda, it is spoken by Agni. Then why do you call it came from Narayana, this knowledge, if it was spoken by Skanda and Agni? So they must have been composed by these persons. So we are thinking it must have been composed by Agni. And so they are neither eternal nor apaurushaya, right? If it is spoken by Agni, if it was composed by Agni, then it is not eternal. But if this were the case, the Vedas themselves would have to be considered non-eternal compositions, since some parts have names like Katha Upanishad and Aitareya Brahmana. So now this question comes, okay, so if you are saying that the Puranas are not eternal, then the same thing will happen with the Vedas also, because we have an Upanishad named Katha Upanishad, and this was spoken by the sage Katha, and then there is Aitareya Upanishad, which refer to the sages Katha and Aitareya. So now it means the Upanishads are also not eternal, but we know that the Vedas are eternal. So what does it mean that this Veda, this Upanishad was spoken by Katha or Aitareya? What does it mean? So the explanation is that portions of the Vedas are named after certain sages, not because they wrote these portions, but because they were the main exponents of those portions. Okay. So basically why it is called Aitareya Upanishad? Because when Vyasadeva divided the Vedas, he gave different section to different his disciples, and then the disciples like spoke on that part. So whatever disciples spoke on that Upanishad, like it became known from his name. So it is called as Katha Upanishad or Aitareya Upanishad, but it doesn't mean that the Aitareya composed it. He spoke it. Since persons with names like Katha and Aitareya appear in every millennium, one should not think, one should not think that before the appearance of the known Katha and Aitareya, these names were meaningless words in the Vedas. Vedas, okay. In the same way, several of the Puranas are named either after their original expounder or the person who rearranged them. It sometimes happens that over the course of time, a certain Vedic work becomes less popular or is completely forgotten on this planet. Eventually, some sage or deva again speaks it, and after that, it becomes known by his name. An example of this is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, where sage Yagya Valka is described as receiving the Vajashree Samhita of the Yajurveda from the sun god. Yeah. So sometimes what happens, that knowledge is lost. Like that knowledge is already there, but it is lost, manifested, and then sun god or somebody will tell that knowledge to a sage, and then that sage will speak it again. So people, so it will become his name, like Katha Upanishad or Aitareya Upanishad, but it doesn't mean that the knowledge was composed by the sage. Like the knowledge is already there. It was just spoken by the sage. Pleased by such glorification, the illustrious sun god assumed the form of a horse, Vaji, and delivered to the sage Yagyavalka the Yajur mantras previously unknown in human society. So in human society it was unknown, but in the society of the Devatas that knowledge was always there. Just as the Lord seems to take birth and disappear like a mortal being, the Vedic literature similarly seems to become manifest and unmanifest. According to traditional sources, Srimad Bhagavatam had become unmanifest at the end of Dwapar Yuga 5000 years ago. At that time, Narad Muni instructed Vyasa to again reveal the Bhagavatam. If the Bhagavatam had not existed before, Puranas older than the Bhagavatam could not refer to it by name. Okay, so this is what happened, that like the Bhagavatam was like there is a story that Narad Muni comes to Vyasadeva and asks him to write the glories of Krishna, and that's when he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. But if we understand it in that way, then how do we understand that the Puranas which were written before the Bhagavatam, they have stories about the Bhagavatam? So how do you understand? So what it means is that the Bhagavatam was already there, but it was lost. That knowledge was lost, and then Vyasadeva again spoke the knowledge. He again spoke like the knowledge. He again spoke, or he like wrote it down. But that knowledge or the book was already there. Like the book was there, it was lost. So he again wrote it down. So this is how we understand. In Padma Puran Uttarkhanda, Gautama advises Ambarish Maharaj, who reigned in Satya Yuga, to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So now if you think that this Bhagavatam came 5000 years ago, so in the Satya Yuga there is Maharaj Ambarish, and there was this sage named Gautama, and Gautam Rishi advises Amrish Maharaj to study Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So it means even in Satya Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam was there. I think Gautama's wife was Ahilya. Have you heard about Ahilya? She became a stone,
Yes,
and
yes,
then Lord
Prabhu.
Ram.
Ram will touch his feet, touch her feet, then her
Yes, 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 yes.
sins will be gone. I have heard that.
Right, right. Yeah. So Lord Ram came in Treta Yuga, and then before in Satya Yuga, Maharaj Amrish was there, and Gautam is advising Amrish to study Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is mentioned in Padma Puran, Uttarakhanda.
Mhm.
So it means Srimad Bhagavatam was there in the Satya Yuga also, but then before 5,000 years, it was this knowledge was lost. So Narad Muni advised Vyasadev to wrote it again. But it doesn't mean that Srimad Bhagavatam just came before 5,000 years. Like it has been already always there, but sometimes it will be lost and then it will be again, yeah, written. Yes. Thus, the Puranas are eternal, but they are sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest in human society. As Bhagavan is independent in his appearance and disappearance, okay, so by his free will, he speaks the revealed scriptures through the medium of various sages and gives them various names. So as Bhagavan is independent in his appearance and disappearance, so by his free will, he speaks the revealed scriptures, and through the medium of various sages and gives them various names. So yeah, this knowledge is imparted to his imparts to various sages and gives them various names. Another objection to the Vedic status of the Itihasas and Puranas may be stated as follows. Okay, what is the objection to the Vedic status of the Itihas and Puranas? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Suta Goswami says, seeing that women, Shudras, and the unqualified among the twice-born classes were prevented even from hearing the Vedas, the great sage Vyasa, moved by compassion, compiled the great historical narration called Mahabharata. So basically, this Mahabharata, like Vedas, cannot be read by Stri, Shudra, and Dvijabandhu, but Mahabharata can be read by all. So then somebody may say that, oh, Mahabharata is not Vedic, or the Itihasas and Puranas are not Vedic, because even Stri, Shudra, and Dvijabandhu, they can read it. Since
So
Mahabharata,
why,
the foremost.
Prabhuji? So at that time, why women are considered very low caste?
Oh, at that time, like generally this, I mean, like a man were studying the scriptures, and women were basically they were acting as the role of mother, like maintaining the family. Because
Mhm.
the role of mother is also very important. Because if let's say both parents are working, and the kid is going to what do you call, the cage or preschool, because the baby needs to be taken care by the mother and it needs to be imparted correct education. So it doesn't mean that the women were not educated. Like they were also educated, but uh, like they had some like moral education or general education, like not so much into the Vedas or something. Like some women will have, but generally not all women. Like they were into maintaining the house and cooking, all those things in those
So
days.
Sudras and other two kind of people are considered why that low caste.
So again, like we have to understand the Sudra is by guna and karma. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because see, we cannot understand it from our reference now, because right now we don't have any varnas. Like we do not see any varnas there. Like now it is called varna shankara, like mixture of varnas. So we cannot understand anything. But earlier days when there used to be varnas, so varnas you can think as if you have seen dogs, right? So the dogs will have different classes. Like some will be like Elshishian dog, and some will be like Doberman, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
we have some dog, like we call it, I don't know what to call this, Bhutia or something. Bhutia means this dog, they look very cute, right? So in
Mm-hmm.
the dog, in dog you have different categories. Like some dog will be like very ferocious, and people will use them to protect their house, right? And some dog will be like very
Mm-hmm.
cute and beautiful, and they will be just keeping them as like some pets, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
what happens? Every dog has a purpose. Like this Alsatian and Doberman, they have a purpose to protect the house, and the other dogs are like cute thing. So now what
Mm-hmm.
happens if you like, let's say if you marry a Doberman and this thing, this one cute dog. So the puppy will be, which will be produced, it will have like 50% quality of both, right?
Yes, yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
it won't be as efficient as the Doberman because it has 50% Doberman, and
Yes, yes.
it will not be as beautiful as, the other one. So it will be
Mm-hmm.
neither beautiful, it will be neither strong. So it cannot
Mm-hmm.
do this work, it cannot do that work. It is like good for nothing. So so right now, whatever society we have, we cannot compare. So in those days, like Shudras, we are like into the mode of ignorance. So in the mode of ignorance, so at least to study the scriptures, you have to be in the mode of goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like
Okay.
Brahmanas were in goodness, and then
Mm-hmm.
Kshatriyas were in passion, and they had goodness as secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Vaishyas were in passion, but they had yeah, ignorance as secondary, and Shudras were in ignorance. So if you are in ignorance, you can't understand the meaning. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why. Yeah. And then Dvijabandhu refers to the Brahmanas, Vaishyas, and uh, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. So generally, they had to go through that Upanayan Sanskar, and after that, they had to study the scriptures and they had to act like that. But if somebody doesn't act like that, like somebody is lazy, right? He is not acting whatever he has to act, then he is considered fallen. So those people were also
Mm-hmm.
not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is like that this knowledge of atom bomb or the knowledge of how to this like operate a gun, you can't give it to anyone, right? If you give the knowledge of the gun, how to operate a gun to any person and people, right? So similarly,
Yes.
this Vedas and everything, they will have some mantras for sacrifice and doing many things. So if you just give this knowledge to people like who are not good in character, then they can misuse that knowledge.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Since Mahabharata, the foremost of the Itihasas, was written specifically for women and others with no access to the Vedas, how can the Itihasas be part of the Vedas? Yes, this is the question. Moreover, in the same chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shaunak Rishi says to Suta Goswami, we consider you to be thoroughly well versed in all subjects implicit within the complete range of sacred speech, except for the Vedas. So he was not well versed in the Vedas. So if Suta Goswami was not exposed to the Vedic speech, yet was being requested to narrate the Puranas, specifically Bhagavad Puran, how can the Puranas be part of the Vedas? This is a good question, right? Because they are saying that you know everything except the Vedas, and he is reciting the Puranas. So how can the Puranas be part of the Vedas? Yeah, that's a good question. Yes. Anticipating these objections, Srila Jiva Goswami compares the privilege of studying the Itihasas and Puranas to that of chanting Krishna's holy name, the choicest fruit of the Vedas. The holy name of Krishna is purely Vedic. Okay, so now he Jiva Goswami gives the reason. The holy name of Krishna is Vedic. In the Vedas also the holy name of Krishna is mentioned. And yet everyone may chant it. But it's not that only Brahmanas can chant it. Everyone can chant it, including those who are denied access to study the Vedas. So that is his point. Similarly, although the Itihas and Puranas are also purely Vedic, even a sincere Shudra outcast can approach them, just as he or she may chant the holy name of the Lord. In fact, by study of the Vedas alone, one may not comprehend the ultimate reality. Even if one is a Dvija, by studying of Vedas, he cannot comprehend the ultimate reality. It is for this reason only that the Itihasas and Puranas are said to complete the Vedas. And Srila Jiva Goswami is arguing in favor of studying them rather than the Vedas. So even if one is eligible to study the Vedas, one should not neglect to study the Itihasas and Puranas for proper understanding of ultimate reality. One should not neglect. As one can gain all perfection simply by chanting Sri Krishna's holy name, which is the ultimate fruit of the Vedas, so by studying the Itihasas and Puranas, one can learn the essence of the Vedas by studying Itihas Puranas, even without studying the Vedas themselves. If one could not do so, the knowledge of how to attain ultimate value would be inaccessible. So if one could not do so, the knowledge of how to attain ultimate value would be inaccessible to those who are barred from studying the Vedas because they are not twice born. So the so this point is that like if one cannot get liberation by studying the Itihasas and Puranas, then the people who are not Brahmanas, like they will be barred from liberation, right? The ultimate goal. They will be barred from the ultimate goal. But the thing is that by studying Itihasas and Puranas, one can get the ultimate goal. So nobody is barred. Finally, even if one were to include the Itihasas and Puranas among other Smriti scriptures written by saintly sages to explain the meaning of the Vedas, the Itihasas and Puranas occupy a unique place because of the eminence of their propounder, Srila Vyasadev, an avatar of Bhagavan. So now, even if you consider that they were not Vedic, but still they were written by Vyasa who compiled the Vedas. So he's like such a great person. He was an avatar of Bhagavan. So if he compiled the Puranas, then Itihasas, then they are certainly authoritative. In the next Anucheda, Jiva Goswami elaborates on how the Itihasas and Puranas are exceptional by virtue of their compiler's divinity. So now in the next Anucheda, they will say that compiled by Vyasa is unique, and therefore we can understand that the Itihasas and Puranas are also great because they have been compiled by this great sage called Vyasa. So now we are going to understand like how Vyasa is unique. Okay. The distinctive illumination of Vyasa, revealer of the Itihasas and Puranas. The Skanda Puran states, just as a person picks up items from his own house and uses them, many people have taken knowledge from the sky of Vyasa's heart for their own use. So many people have taken knowledge from the sky of Vyasa's heart. So his heart is compared to a sky, that he has so much knowledge like the sky. So this is Vyasa. We also find this statement by Parashar Rishi in Vishnu Puran. So Parashar Rishi was the father of Vyasa. He wrote this statement. What? Thereafter, during the 28th Manvantara. So what is Manvantara? Manvantara is uh, a period of Manu. Uh, yes. So basically, Brahma's day contain. So we have these yugas like Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So together it is called one Mahayuga. So one Mahayuga consists of 4 yugas, and 1,000 such Mahayugas make one day of Brahma. Okay. So yeah,
Hmm.
so 1,000 Mahayugas make one day of Brahma, and in one day of Brahma there is the reign of 14 Manus. So basically, if you divide 1,000 by 14, it comes up to be like 71.4, something like 71 or zero point 0.4 it comes. So basically, this one reign of Manu is equal to 71 Mahayugas. And in each reign of Manu, there is an independent Indra, there is an independent sun god like that. So in one day of Brahma, there are like 14 Manus, 14 Indras, 14 sun god, 14 Agni, like that. All those details are given. So Manvantara
So
is
like that 71 times become no bro.
so sorry. I got 28. Sorry. I got. Uh, how can it can be 28th Manvantara? Like I got it wrong. I think. Uh, wait. I got confused. Why it is 28th Manvantara? If there are. Let me. Like, is it? Okay, Manvantara is one we know. Just give me 1 second to search. Chakshush Manvantara was the 6th Manvantara. How many Manvantaras are? Okay, yeah. What I told you is correct. Each Manvantara last for repeats 71 yuga cycles. There are a total of 14 Manvantaras in a Kalpa, day of Brahma, where each Manvantara followed and was preceded by a Manvantara. Yeah, so there should be only 14 Manvantaras. So how does this 28th Manvantara come? I am not sure. But 28 is okay. In the day there are 14. In the night, no. But in the night there is devastation, right? Nothing is there in the night. Hmm. Yes, these names are already given. Like first is Swayambhuva Manu. Yeah, I heard this name. Then yeah, second is yeah Swarochisha. Then third was Uttama. Fourth was Tamas. Fifth was Revat, and sixth was Chakshur, like last. And current is Vaivasvata Manu. So right now we are in the seventh Manvantara, which is Vaivasvata Manu. So yeah, so what does 28th Manvantara means? It is confusing. Okay, let us study. We'll figure out this thing. 28. Okay. Or let me just post it in Facebook. What does 28th Manvantara? Yeah, because we are in the okay. Yeah, you can figure it out later. What does 28th Manvantara means? Because right now
Prabhuji, 1 second, Prabhu. Somebody has
calendar
came.
entity.
I will go and check it.
Okay. I'll bring some water.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm just getting some water.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll think about it. Okay. Thereafter, during the 28th Manvantara, Bhagavan in the form of my son Vyasa. So this Parashar is saying, Parashar's son is Vyasa, took the one Veda consisting of 4 sections and divided it into 4 separate parts. Just as this illuminated Vyasa divided the Veda, previously all other Vyasas, including myself, also divided it. So this is the thing that means in every during the 28th Manvantara. Yeah. So in every Chatur Yuga, what happens? Like before Kali Yuga, there will be one person named as Vyasa who will come, and then he will divide the Veda. So it happens in every cycle. In the previous cycle, it was Parashar who did it, and in this cycle, it is his son who did it. In fact, in the next cycle, it will be Ashwathama who will be the Vyasa. O best of the twice born, understand that it is precisely in this manner that a Vyasa comes in every cycle of 4 yugas and arranges the Veda into various branches. But now, O Maitreya, that Sri Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is Sri Narayana himself. So generally some Jiva will come, but this time it is Sri Narayana himself. Special energy has come. Who else in this world could have brought forth the great epic Mahabharata? Yes. But basically, what we are studying is that the greatness of this Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Skanda Puran further states. So we are studying about the greatness of Vyasa, and then we will understand that, oh, this Vyasa is so great, and this is Vyasa only wrote the Itihasas and Puranas. So these Puranas are authoritative. In Satya Yuga, the knowledge that emanated from Sri Narayana remained pure. It became somewhat distorted in Treta Yuga and completely so in Dwapara Yuga. When ignorance had covered that knowledge because of Gautama Rishi's curse, the Devas became perplexed. Led by Brahma and Rudra, they approached Sri Narayana, the Supreme Person, an ultimate shelter for those seeking refuge, and told him why they had come. On the request of the Deva, Sri Hari then descended as the great Yogi Vyasa, son of Satyavati and Parashara, and re-established the forgotten Vedas. So basically explains the greatness of Vyasa, that he is like Narayana
So this
himself.
Gautama Rishi, he cursed it to all of the people, Prabhu, all of the people in this world.
No, Gautama Rishi cursed the Brahmanas.
Oh, okay, okay. So because the Vedas comes from the Brahmanas, right? So he cursed the Brahmanas.
Yeah, so he cursed the Brahmanas, so then these Brahmanas lost their character.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what happens that once upon a time, like like there was a famine, and because of the famine, the people were not having anything to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, Gautama Rishi had a cow, Kamdhenu cow. So this cow used to give milk and other things. So
Mm-hmm.
Gautama Rishi was having food, and other people were not having food. So all the Brahmanas went to Gautama Rishi's hermitage, and they all stayed there. Okay. And Gautam Rishi used to feed them as guest.
Mm-hmm.
Because in India, many times it happens, right? The guest will come, or
Mm-hmm.
in your childhood, if you have seen, right, your relatives will come and stay in your house, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was feeding them. Then after some time, what happened? The famine got over, and now everything was good. So these Brahmanas, now they wanted to go back to their home, but Gautam Rishi said that no, 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 you stay for some more days, you stay for some more days, like that. Like in India, I remembered, like before 30 years, my aunt used to come and she used to stay for 3 months during the summer vacation in our house.
Mm-hmm.
Like because nowadays, like we can't imagine somebody staying for 3 months, but yeah, at that time they used to happen. So you can understand at that time, like maybe people will come and stay for 1 year also, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 years they will come and stay. So, so what happens is Brahmanas wanted to go back, but Gautam Rishi was saying that you stay for some more time, you stay for some more time. And whenever they will think of going back, he will say that, oh, you stay for some more time. So finally, they thought that we need to find out some plan how to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did is that, like, there was one cow which was like about to die. Okay. So they one day in the morning, Gautam Rishi was going to take bath, and they put the cow in the road or something as where Gautam Rishi was going. So it was very dark, like before sunrise, and they put it like actually in the stairs of the stairs somewhere they put. So Gautam Rishi did not see, and he touched the cow, and as soon as they touched it, then the cow died. And now all these Brahmanas, they were hiding, and they came out and said, "Oh, you have killed the cow! You have killed the cow! So now you have become impure. We cannot eat in your house because you have become impure, so we will leave. So like
Mm.
that, all the Brahmanas left. So Gautam Rishi was feeling very bad, but he was a great yogi. So when he meditated, then he understood what had happened. So he became very angry. He said he thought like these people are so ungrateful because when it was the famine, they were not having any food to eat. So they came to my house and I feed them like guests and I took care of them. And these people are so ungrateful that they did this to me. So he became very angry and then he cursed them that you did like this, so your character will become like you will lose your character in due course, something like that. Yeah, I think this story will also come. In the, some somewhere it will come. Yeah, yeah. So here the word Veda also includes the Itihasas and Puranas. Thus, it is established that only the study of the Itihasas and Puranas is supremely beneficial. And of these two, the Puranas are more excellent. The Puranas are more excellent. Lord Shiva confirms this in Naradiya Puran. Oh, lovely one, I consider the Puranas more important than the Vedas. Okay, he's saying, Lord Shiva is saying Puranas are more important than the Vedas because the Puranas firmly establish all the Vedic meanings. It is difficult to understand the Vedas, so Puranas establish the meaning. There is no doubt of this. One who disregards the Puranas, so now he says, one who disregards the Puranas, like somebody study the Vedas but he disregards the Puranas, will take birth as a subhuman even if his senses are under full control and his mind is firmly established in peace. He cannot attain an auspicious destination if he disregards the Puranas. So it's so important because he will not understand the meaning just by studying the Vedas. So, commentary. One can know a product's quality by asserting the status of its manufacturer. By this criteria, the Puranas and Itihasas are supremely excellent since they were compiled by Sri Narayana himself in the form of Srila Vyasadeva. Here, Srila Vyasa's heart, Chitta, that is the seat of consciousness, is compared to the unlimited sky, indicating that just as the sky accommodates all objects, so Vyasa's heart contains all knowledge. Okay, by the way, we finished 100 pages of this book. Okay, very good. So Vyasa's heart contains all
But it's
knowledge.
showing only 74.
Sorry?
It is showing 74 only, Prabhu. How it is 100?
It's showing 74 here. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Yes, yes, because in the book, hmm, it's important. Showing 74 here, but my book it is showing 100. Okay, I don't know.
Pages in your book having, Prabhu, total number of pages.
In my book, the total number of pages is yeah, is very much. It's like 500, something like 569.
Okay, Prabhu.
For 569 and so many. Oh, okay, okay. See. Actually, this is not a book. This is just an image. Like this is just a photo, right? All the photos compiled together.
Okay, okay, okay.
So 311 means it will be like 622 pages.
Mm.
Yeah, 622 pages will be okay. Anyway, okay. Uh, hmm. Here, Srila Vyasa's heart, Chitta, that is the seat of consciousness, is compared to the unlimited sky, indicating that just as the sky accommodates all objects, so Vyasa's heart contains all knowledge. Another significance of comparing Vyasa's awareness to the sky is that both are the medium. So first thing is that Vyasa's heart, sky contains all objects, so Vyasa's heart contains all knowledge because he was so much knowledgeable. Another significance of comparing Vyasa's awareness to the sky is that both are the medium for sound. So sky is the medium for sound, which is the basis of all kinds of knowledge. So we get knowledge from sound by hearing, and uh, and Vyas medium sound is the basis of knowledge, and Vyasa's heart is the basis of knowledge for us. Sky, both are the sky is the medium for sound, and and yeah, Vyasa's and and sound is the basis of all kind of knowledge. Similarly, Vyasa's awareness is the basis for our knowledge, because whatever he saw, he wrote it down, and from that only we are understanding. So Vyasa's awareness is the basis of our knowledge. All other thinkers, both on this planet and on higher planets, simply appropriate the knowledge Srila Vyasa has given. So whoever, in Sanskrit there is a saying that whoever writes, he has to refer to the Shastra, and basically whatever Vyasa has written, that only he is writing. This estimation is in accordance with the Sanskrit saying, the whole world tastes the remnants of Vyasa's knowledge. Vyasa uchishtham jagat sarvam. Basically, uh, yeah, whatever Vyasa has written, that only like people will read and study and write. Any new idea one may find or conceive of already exists in his compilations. So there is nothing new. Whatever new we think, Vyasa has already written. According to Parasar Muni, at the beginning of each Kali Yuga, in the cycle of 4 yugas, a Vyasa or compiler arranges the Vedas. In the present reign of Manu, Parasar himself was the 26th Vyasa and Krishna Dvaipayana is the 28th. Okay. Present reign of. Oh, okay. I got it now. See, uh, like there are 14 Manu in each day of Brahma, right?
Hmm.
And each day of Brahma has 1000 Chaturyugas or Mahayuga. So each Manu will have 71 or 72 Mahayugas. So right now we are in the seventh Manu, that is Vaivasvata Manu, who is the Vaivasvata. Vaivasvata Manu is the son of sun god, like Vivaswan. We hear that Krishna gave this knowledge to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan gave to Manu, his son. So Vivaswan's son was named as Vaivasvata, and we are in his reign. So now this Vaivasvata Manu will have like 71 or 72 Mahayugas, and in the 26th 26th Mahayuga of Vaivasvata Manu, it was Parashar who who was the Vyasa, and in the 28th Mahayuga, it was like 20th. So we are right now we are in the 28th Mahayuga. So it is Krishna Dvaipayana who is the Vyasa now. Yeah, it becomes clear now. Yeah. Of the 28 Vyasas who have appeared until now. Okay, yeah, now it becomes very clear. Of the 28 Vyasas who have appeared until now, Krishna Dvaipayana is special because he is an avatar of Sri Narayana. So now all the other Vyasas, so Krishna Dvaipayana is the 28th Vyasa in this present reign of Manu. All the other Vyasas were great sages, but this one, he is the avatar of Sri Narayana. He appeared on the request of the Devas at the end of Dwapar Yuga. After a curse by Gautam Muni caused ignorance to cover the Vedic knowledge. To eliminate the knowledge, he appeared. So this Vyasa is special because he is an avatar of Sri Narayana. Chapter. Okay, so now things are very clear. That the 28th, we are not talking about 28th Manvantara. He is talking about the 28th. In the cycle of 4 yugas, we are talking about the 28th cycle of the present Manu. Chapter 171 of the Varaha Puran relates how, during a famine, Gautam Muni underwent severe austerities to please Sri Brahma. When Brahma offered Gautam a boon, the sage asked to be able to feed all his guests. The boon was benevolent. Gautam fed his many Brahmana guests for the duration of the famine. When rains finally came, the Brahmanas wanted to leave his hermitage. As is the custom, however, Gautam asked them to stay a little longer and they agreed. After some time, they again wished to leave, but once again, Gautam prevailed on them to stay a while longer. This happened a few times. So in India, actually, now I remember, like when I was a child, my aunt, they will come and they will say that we are going on Sunday. We will say, no, just stay here for 2 more days. And then again, Tuesday come, they want to go. We'll say, oh no, stay here for 1 more days. You remember something like that in the childhood?
Yes, Prabhu. I
Yeah,
used
but nowadays when people will come, we will ask them that okay, like how long you are here so that we can plan our like a vacation accordingly.
Mhm.
Yeah. After some time, like nobody will believe that this kind of things happened, like in the next generation. Determined to leave, the Brahmanas devised a plan. They created an artificial cow and left it near Gautama's ashram. In the early morning, when the sage was going to bath, the animal blocked his path, and to drive her away, he threw a few drops of water at her. At the first touch of the water, the cow fell down dead. The Brahmanas immediately raised a hue and cry, denouncing Gautama as a cow killer. They declared, "We cannot stay here and accept food from a cow killer," and then they left for their respective residences. Later, Gautama performed atonement but then by his supernatural power, he could understand that he had been tricked. He then angrily cursed the Brahmanas that they would lose all their Vedic knowledge. In this way, Vedic knowledge became covered by ignorance during Dwapar Yuga, and thus it was necessary for Vyasa to bring forth the Vedas again. Yes. Lord Shiva stated that the Puranas are more important than the Vedas since they explain the Vedas. Yet we should not conclude that absolutely no one should study the Vedas. Yeah, this is not like that. Still, Vyasadeva's verdict is that people in Kali Yuga are not intelligent enough. Yeah, he says, okay, uh, are not intelligent enough to understand the true message of the Vedas, especially since there exists no authentic disciplic succession through which to acquire this understanding. Yeah, same thing only repeated. We find, in fact, that nowadays those who attempt to study only the Vedas and Upanishads most often take up either ritual based, result oriented action, the karma path, or meditation aimed at absolute identity with unqualified Brahman, the Jnana path, without the distinct vision provided by the Puranas. Yeah, because mostly Vedic people will be karma kandi or they will be like impersonalist. Without the distinct vision provided by the Puranas, which completes the Vedic meaning, it is virtually impossible for a person to come to realize the absolute as Bhagavan. So nobody studying the Vedas like understand that Krishna is Bhagavan and we have to worship Bhagavan. They either do karma kanda, all the rituals, or they study the Upanishad and like want to merge in Brahman. So nobody come to realize the absolute as Bhagavan, who is not only identical to Brahman but vastly beyond. So Krishna is beyond Brahman. And it is only by intuition of the absolute as Bhagavan that one can become situated in the inherently ego transcending condition of, of devotional turning to Bhagavan. So basically, bhakti, by understanding Krishna only, we can uh, like practice bhakti and then we can transcend our ego, right? Known as causeless devotion, the Uttama Bhakti path. Yes. So without understanding Bhagavan, we will not be engaged in bhakti and we cannot transcend our ego. The failure of modern day students of the Vedas to understand this conclusion is proof that this message is not easy to discern in the present age. So in the present age, by studying the Vedas, we won't come to the conclusion that Krishna is Bhagavan and we need to uh, be engaged in bhakti. As Sri Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas speak indirectly, Paroksha Vada Vedoayam. Therefore, if we wish to learn the true conclusion of the Vedas in this age, it is more practical to study the Puranas. So same thing is hitting again and again and again that study the Puranas. A serious student who seeks to understand the conclusion of the Puranas must still approach a qualified teacher in disciplic succession. But still, the Puranas also we cannot understand. We must approach a teacher. This basic requirement of Vedic study is not waived when one approaches the Puranas. So this basic requirement is still there that one need to go to a teacher. Indeed, Srimad Bhagavatam emphatically declares, Tasmat Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. Then I think next line is Sabde Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani Upasamashrayam. A person who is profoundly inquisitive about the ultimate good must take shelter of a realized spiritual teacher. Next, Srila Jiva Goswami explains the three divisions of the Puranas. So the same thing is hammered again and again and again, and now we will understand that there are three divisions of the Puranas. Like um, some Puranas will appeal to those people who are in Sattva Guna, and some Puranas in Rajoguna, and some in Tamoguna. It will appeal to those people. But okay, let us study the three divisions of Puranas. Okay, the three divisions of Puranas. Furthermore, Skanda Puran states, okay, O best of the twice born, I consider the meaning of the Puranas to be as immutable as that of the Vedas. Immutable means it cannot be changed, like that is perfect. Without doubt, all of the Vedas are firmly established in the Puranas. Long ago, the personified Veda became apprehensive of those whose acquaintance with her is insufficient. Those apprehensive of those whose acquaintance with her is insufficient. And she thought, this sort of person will distort my meaning. So in the Kali Yuga, the Veda, she thought that this sort of person will distort my meaning. But then the Itihasas and Puranas helped the Veda by firmly established their meaning. What cannot be found in the Vedas or Brahmana is found in the Smriti, and what cannot be found in either is clearly explained in the Puranas. O learned Brahmanas, even if a person has studied the four Vedas along with the Vedangas and Upanishads, he is not considered learned unless he knows the Puranas. This is what Skanda Puran says. Unless he knows the Puranas, he is not considered learned. But of course, somebody may say that this is a statement from the Purana. This is not a statement from the Veda. So the Puranas are glorifying themselves. So let us see what Jiva Goswami has to say. Although the authority of the Puranas has been established in the previous Anuchedas, still it is difficult for modern human beings of impoverished intellect to comprehend their ultimate meaning. The reason for this difficulty are that the Puranas, like the Vedas, are only partially available. And that the Puranas generally tend to establish the supremacy of various deities. Thus, the same doubt that was encountered with the Vedas remain in the case of the Puranas, that the Puranas are partially available and different Puranas have different deities. Like Skanda Puran will say the deity as Skanda, Agni Puran will say Agni, Vishnu Puran as Vishnu, Shiva Puran as Shiva, like that. So how do we resolve? As stated in Matsya Puran, a history is called a Puran if it has the 5 definitive characteristics. Otherwise, it is called an Akhyana. So Akhyana means a story, but it has to be considered a Puran if it has 5 characteristics. The Satvika Puranas, Kalpas, okay, primarily glorify Sri Hari. The Rajasika Puranas, Lord Brahma, and the Tamasika Puranas, Lord Shiva and goddesses Durga along with Agni. So these are the divisions of Puranas. And the Puranas in the mixed gunas glorify goddesses Saraswati and the four fathers Pitri. So now if you read Satvika Puranas, it will glorify Vishnu. If you read Rajasika Purana, it will glorify Brahma. If you read Tamasika Puran, it will glorify Shiva or Parvati. And if you read a mixed Puran, it can glorify Saraswati or the Pitri. So again, we get a confusion that which one to take. In the above statement, the word Agni, fire, refers to the Vedic sacrifice performed by offering oblation into various sacred fires. Okay, so it refers to the Vedic sacrifice. The conjunction cha and in the phrase Shivasya cha implies the wife of Lord Shiva, goddesses Durga. Sankirneshu in the mixed means in the various Puranas in the mixed gunas of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Here Sarasvatya of Saraswati means of the presiding deity of speech and by implication of the various deities referred to in the numerous scriptural texts she embodies. Means it can refer to various deities like Indra, Varuna, Chandra, everything. So you'll be confused. The Shruti affirms by ritualistic result oriented action, means karma kanda, one can attain the abode of the forefathers, Pitri. According to the statement, the word Pitrinam of the forefathers refers to the result oriented rituals, okay, Vedic karma, meant for attaining the planet of the forefathers. So basically, what it is saying is that Puranas will say that you do this karma, then you will go to the planet of forefathers. So basically, they will tell you to do this Vedic karma. And then Saraswati means the various deities, like expressed by speech, like it will say you worship like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, all those things. And then again, you will be confused if you read the Puranas, all the Puranas. If you read all the 18 Puranas, you will be confused. Somewhere it will say glorify Hari, somewhere glorify Brahma, somewhere glorify Shiva. That's why this question come, right? Shiva Puran says Shiva is supreme, and Vishnu Puran says Vishnu is supreme. So which one we should understand? So commentary. The verse from Matsya Puran cited in Anuched 17.3 mentions 5 subjects that characterize a Puran. Another verse of Matsya Puran lists those subjects. So we have to understand that there are 5 subjects in a Puran. And later we find that a Mahapuran will have 10 subjects, and Srimad Bhagavatam is a Mahapuran which has 10 subjects. The 5 subjects that characterize a Puran are creation, dissolution, genealogy, the period of reign of the Manus, and the activities of illustrious kings and enlightened sages appearing within the great dynasties. So the 5 subjects that characterize the Puran are creation. So how this universe is created, it has to explain. Dissolution. So how the universe is dissolved, it has to explain. Genealogy. So genealogy means like the family. You can say the like this king came and his father was his son was this, and then his son was this, and his son was this. So like that, it will have all the family. The period of reign of the Manus. So during the Manus time, whatever great kings were there, and the activities of illustrious kings and enlightened sages appearing within the great dynasties. So we are right now we are in Anuched 17, and in Anuched 57 and 61 of Sri Tattva Sandarbha discusses these 5 subjects in detail. We will hear of them in detail. So let's not worry now. In the verses cited in the text from Matsya Puran, Anuched 17.3, the word Kalpa could mean a day of Brahma, or it could refer to a scripture or Puran. The various meanings of this word are listed in the Medini Sanskrit dictionary. Kalpa means scripture, rule, logic, dissolution, and a day of Brahma. So here Kalpa means scripture or Puran, yeah. The word, because Kalpa sometimes it refers to that Kalpa, Kalpa refers to 1,000 Chaturyugas also, which is a day of Brahma. But here this Kalpa is referring means Puran, Puran, because it says right in Satvika Kalpa. So there is no Kalpa which is like fully Satvik, because in every Kalpa this Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar and Kali will come. So Satvika cannot be fully Satvik, and then Tamasika Kalpa. So Kalpa cannot be fully Tamasic. So this Kalpa means Puran or scripture here. So this word Kalpa has different meaning. Yeah, the word Kalpa is translated here as Puran based upon the gloss of this word given by Sri Radha Mohan Goswami. Although the meaning of Kalpa as a day of Brahma seems natural, it would be illogical to consider that some days of Brahma could be exclusively in Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas. According to Laghu Bhagavatamrita, all avatars appear in every day of Brahma, and it seems that Kalpas are similar in nature. Yeah, so the Kalpas will repeat. Like the day of Brahma repeats, so the Kalpas will be similar. So it won't be that one Kalpa is like fully Rajasic or one Kalpa. Like if you take Kalpa to mean uh, mean 1,000 Mahayugas, so that meaning is not fit. So Kalpa means scripture. So the Satvika scriptures will glorify So when we say that the Sattvic Kalpa glorify Vishnu, it means Sattvic scriptures will glorify Vishnu and Rajasic scriptures will glorify Brahma. The Puranas are divided according to the gunas of material nature that they embody. The list of the Puranas belonging to each guna is given in Padma Puran. Yes. So Lord Shiva said, "O beautiful lady, know that the Vishnu, Narada, Bhagavata, Garuda, Padma, and Varaha Puranas embody the perspective born of Sattva Guna, luminosity and being. Luminosity means prakash, like
Mm.
knowledge and being. So that is Satvika Puran. Vishnu, Narada, Vishnu Puran, Narada Puran, Bhagavata Puran, Garuda Puran, Padma Puran, and Varaha Puran. Okay, so later we find that even this Bhagavata Puran is not Sattvic also, it is transcendental. But right now, like it is in three categories, so it is considered in the category of Sattvika because it is not Rajasic or not Tamasic. But later we will understand that it is not Sattvic also because it is Nirguna. And then the Brahmanda, Brahma Vaivarta, Markandeya, Bhavishya, Vamana, and Brahma Puranas embody the perspective born of Rajoguna, dynamism and conditional becoming. So this Rajoguna, this Puran. And the Matsya, Kurma, Linga, Shiva, Skanda, and Agni Puran embody the perspective born of Tamoguna, ignorance and stasis. So this is Padma Puran says
Mm.
that, yeah, that Shiva Puran that will appeal to people who are in ignorance. Stasis.
Yes, bro.
This statement makes it exceedingly clear that it is the Puranas that are predominantly established in particular gunas. These verses Srila Jiva cites from Skanda Puran imply that the Puranas are as good as the Vedas and should be accepted as such by anyone who accepts the authority of the Vedas. There are many commentaries on the Vedas written by Vedic scholars, but the Puranas are the natural commentary because they were compiled by the very person who compiled the Vedas themselves, Srila Vyasa. So Puranas are written by Vyasa. So why do you have to read a commentary? You just directly read from Vyasa, and Puranas are easy to understand. Therefore, even without directly studying the Vedas, one can understand their message by studying the Puranas alone. On the other hand, study of the Vedas in this age is incomplete without study of the Puranas because Vedas are difficult to understand. Therefore, studying the Puranas is even more appropriate and practical for us than studying the Vedas. Furthermore, the statement from Skanda Puran quoted in Anuched 17.1, that
Prabhu,
is,
Hare Krishna,
yeah,
Prabhu.
yes, Prabhu,
In the
Hare Krishna.
before, in the just now, a minute ago, there is a word that they were compiled by a very person who compiled the Vedas themselves, like Srila Vyasa, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
So,
yes.
but these Puranas also
So,
has commentary, right? No, bro.
uh-huh. The commentaries came recently because earlier days the Puranas were in Sanskrit and they are like very easy to understand. So commentaries were not there. Commentary came recently, like I think before, 1,000 years ago or something like that.
Okay, okay. So before that, there is no commentaries. Only Puranas were there. So only Sanskrit words verses were there.
Yes, yes, yeah, because the Puranas are easy to understand compared to the Vedas, so no commentary was there.
Hmm.
Yes.
So for example, if you take Bhagavad Gita, the only the Sanskrit text will be there. There won't be any translation or purports.
Yes, yes, yes. So translation purpose they came like recently. Yeah.
Okay, okay. But if you don't know Sanskrit means how to learn that one?
No, at those days, like everybody knew Sanskrit, right?
1,000 years
In those
ago.
days. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
The
okay.
everybody means the learned people knew Sanskrit. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So they can directly read. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that Laukika Sanskrit.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So Puranas and Itihasas are in Laukik Sanskrit, yes. And Vedic Sanskrit is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Therefore, even without directly studying the Vedas, one can understand their message by studying the Puranas alone. On the other hand, study of the Vedas in this age is incomplete without study of the Puranas. Therefore, studying the Puranas is even more appropriate and practical for us than studying the Vedas. Furthermore, the statement from Skanda Puran quoted in Anuched 17.1, that is, that no one can be considered learned without studying the Puranas, suggests that the Puranas are also more important than the Itihasas. Like no one can be considered learned without studying the Puranas, suggests that the Puranas are also more important than the Itihas. So Ramayana and Mahabharata is there, but this Ramayana and Mahabharata is there, but the Puranas are more important than the Itihasas. But now the problem is this. So your friend that Ila version, he knows that you are studying this book.
No, Prabhu, he won't engage this kind of activities and all, Prabhu.
Okay, okay.
He is not
So
that
what
much.
is he doing?
He is not that much devoted to Bhagavad Gita also, also, Prabhu. He won't attend the classes also.
Oh, oh, he won't. But he's staying in the same house.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Oh, so Guruji arranged like house for him also,
Yes.
or what? How you're staying?
No, Prabhu. I was staying alone, no,
Okay,
Prabhu. For that only Guruji said him, allowed him to stay, or else he won't allow.
okay, 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 okay.
Once he attended
But
the
just as
and learned
sorry.
something, but now he is not attending, bro. Don't know why, what happened.
Okay, okay, okay. But just as we meet with difficulties in studying the Vedas, in this age, we also encounter difficulties in studying the Puranas. The 18 major and 18 minor Puranas constitute a vast body of literature. And there are no current disciplic successions or authentic commentaries for most of this work. So the 18 major and 18 minor Puranas constitute a vast body of literature, and there are no current disciplic successions or authentic commentaries for most of these works. So most of these Puranas, they don't have any commentary. So again, that is another problem. So what should we do? Portions of some Puranas are not available. So some Puranas are not available. And other Puranas have variant readings and interpolations. So you find different readings. As with the Vedas, independent study of the Puranas yields no clear conclusion because each Purana seems to establish a different deity as supreme. Shiva Puran proclaims Lord Shiva as supreme, Vishnu Puran proclaims Sri Vishnu as supreme, and so on. For one who studies them without proper guidance, the result is confusion. Such a student will not know the distinctions between the worship of Shiva, Vishnu, Devi, or some other deity. So if you read all the Puranas by yourself, again you will be confused. Srila Jiva Goswami offers a solution to this problem in the next Anucheda. In the next Anucheda, he will offer a solution to this problem, that how we can study the Puranas. Yeah. So now he will say that, okay, like all the Puranas are not there, like incomplete, like some Puranas we have incomplete, and some Puranas we don't have commentary. But then he will say, okay, is there any Purana which is complete? Like none of the chapters are lost. We have it in full, and that Purana has a commentary also, so that we can study. Like that's the point he's going to make now. Yeah. So this is going to be. Yeah, this is going to be important. Yeah, I think we can read this chapter because after that, our next section will start. Anuched 19 to 26 is the next section. So, like this is a chapter which bridges like about the Vedas, and like it is the end of the section. So it will finally lead to Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, it's nice. We came to Srimad Bhagavatam today. Yeah. So basically he's bringing a, like he is not directly saying that you study Srimad Bhagavatam and something, like he's making a the story line for that. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam fulfills the criteria of authority in the matter of absolute truth. Yeah. We start studying 8:29. Okay, 1.5 hours we studied. But This being the case that the Puranas embody different gunas of primordial nature, Matsya Purana classifies the various well-known Puranas into three divisions based specifically on the descriptions that they contain. So Puranas are classified into three divisions based on the descriptions that they contain. But how can we determine the relative importance of the Puranas so that we can then learn about the other subjects under discussion? Okay, so now is that we understand that the Puranas are in three categories, but how can we determine the relative importance of the Puranas? So how can we understand that which Purana is more important so that we can then learn about the other subjects under discussion? So one thing is that we wanted to read the Vedas and understand that which Purana is more important so that we can then learn about the other subjects under discussion. So one thing is that we wanted to read the Vedas and understand that which Purana is more important so that we can then learn about the other subjects under discussion. So one thing is that we wanted to read the Vedas and understand that which Purana is more important. Okay, I think the connection got lost. Are you there? Are you here? You're muted maybe.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, you are able to hear clearly so far?
No, Prabhu. From the starting, we can read, Prabhu.
Okay, okay, okay. This being the case that the Puranas embody different gunas of primordial nature, like different Puranas are in different guna, Matsya Puran classifies the various well-known Puranas into three divisions based specifically on the descriptions that they contain. So we describe like six Puranas are in Sattva, like six Puranas will appeal to persons in Sattva guna and six Puranas will appeal to person in Tamo
So,
guna
what is that
and six
appeal means?
Puranas
What,
will appeal
Prabhu?
to
Appeal means to know it completely.
appeal means they will like
Okay,
people
okay.
will like. So
Mm-hmm.
the people who are in Sattva guna they will like these six Puranas,
Mm.
and people who are in Tamo guna they will like other six Puranas, and people who are in Raja guna they will like the other six Puranas, like that. But how can we determine the relative importance of the Puranas, right? But how do we know that which Purana is important so that we can learn about the other subjects under discussion, namely Sambandha, Videya, and Prayojana. So that is what we want to learn. We want to learn Sambandha, Videya, and Prayojana. So how do we understand which Purana is more important so that we can study that Purana to get this knowledge? If we use the three gunas of nature as the basis for categorizing the Puranas, depending on such statement as knowledge is born of Sattva guna. So Krishna says that Sattva guna will give knowledge. So if we use the gunas for categorizing,
Mm-hmm.
and Sattva guna leads to realization of the absolute truth. So if you have to realize absolute truth, Sattva guna will lead to. Means it is the gate. Like Sattva guna won't give uh, like moksha, but it will lead to moksha. We must conclude that the Puranas and other literature in Sattva Guna are more authentic sources of knowledge of the absolute truth, right? So since Sattva Guna leads to liberation and again, we have to understand that for liberation, we have to become Nirguna, but Sattva Guna leads to means Sattva Guna will help you on the path compared to Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and Sattva-guna will give knowledge. Like knowledge means here, like not knowledge of Krishna, because knowledge of Krishna is Nirguna, but here means knowledge of this material world and knowledge of Maya. Sattva-guna will give knowledge. So we can understand that the Puranas which are in Sattva-guna, they are more important than the Puranas. We say one thing we have to understand: the Puranas are not in Tamoguna because the Puranas are written by Veda Vyas. So it is not that the Puranas are in Tamoguna, because it is not that by reading the Puranas one person will become bad or he will become Tamoguna. It doesn't mean like that. So Puranas are written by Veda Vyas and they are scriptures, like respectable scriptures. So there are some Puranas which people in Sattva-guna will like more, and some Puranas which people in Rajoguna will like more, and some Puranas which people in Tamoguna will like more.
Yes, yes.
Right?
In the
So
beginning, Srila Jiva Goswami also said, no, Prabhu. The modes of the filter we have discussed, no, Prabhu, like that only, no, Prabhu.
yes, like that. So when we say like Tamasic Puran, So it doesn't mean that if a good person reads that Puran, he become a tamasic person. It doesn't mean like that. Okay. Yeah, because if anyone reads the Puranas, he will get knowledge. But the tamasic Puran, the people who are in mode of ignorance,
They like
they
more
will like
much.
that Puran.
Mm.
They will like that Puran more. Yes, yes. Because the Puranas is written by Vedavyas, right? So how can Vedavyas propagate ignorance, right?
Mm.
If we say that this is a Tamasic Puran, it means Vedavyas has written this book, and whoever reads that book, he will become ignorant, right?
Yes, yes.
That is the meaning, right? If we say that this is Tamasic Puran, and if we take the meaning that this Puran is Tamoguna, so that means whoever reads this book, that person will become a Tamoguna person. So
Mm.
now the thing is that this book is written by Vedavyas. So how is it possible that this book is written by Vedavyas, and whoever reads his book, he will become a Tamoguna
Mm.
person? So it doesn't mean like that. So it
Mm.
just means that the people in Sattva they will like to read this Puranas, they will like it more. The people in Rajaguna, they will like the other Purana more. And the people in Tamoguna, they will like the other Purana more. And now, since we know that Sattva brings knowledge and Sattva leads one to liberation, so it means the people in Sattva whatever Puranas they like more, so this will have like more knowledge, and those Puranas will lead to liberation. So we should study those Puranas in Sattva Guna. So like that, like there are six Puranas, like Srimad Bhagavatam is also one of them. So we should study the six Purana. So that is the conclusion so far. Okay. But even then, how can we reconcile the different inconclusive views put forward regarding the absolute truth? Okay. Some may propose study of Vedanta Sutra as the solution, claiming that Bhagavan Vyasa Dev compiled Vedanta Sutra to present the decisive conclusion of both the Vedas and the Puranas concerning the absolute truth. But then the followers of sages who wrote other sutras may not conquer. Moreover, since the aphorisms of Vedanta are terse and extremely esoteric, and since they are also subject to varying interpretations, a contrary conclusion of the sutras is always likely to be expressed. Somebody may get a different meaning because it is very difficult to understand. What then can resolve what then can resolve disputes concerning the meaning of Vedanta Sutra? Because this Vedanta Sutra is difficult to understand, people can get different meaning. So what should we do? Yeah. Jiva Goswami employs a literary device here of introducing an apparent objective witness who responds to the question as follows. This problem could be solved if there were one scripture that had the characteristics of a Puran. So now we are saying that, okay, we can solve this problem if we find one scripture that has the characteristic of a Puran that was without human origin. So it has to be apaurushaya, otherwise it will be flawed, that presented the essence of all the Vedas, just as the Vedanta Sutra has the essence of the Vedas, Puran has the essence of the Vedas, Itihas and Puranas. That was based on Vedanta Sutra. So if this Purana is based on Vedanta Sutra, and that was available on earth in its complete form. So no part should be missing. It should be available on earth. So these are the characteristics. Like it is available completely. It is based on Vedanta Sutra. It presents the essence of the Vedas, and it is without human origin. So if we find a Puran like that, then we can study that Puran. To this, Jiva responds, my dear sir, what you have said is an accurate statement of truth, and the specific criteria mentioned by you particularly brings to mind our revered Srimad Bhagavatam, the emperor of all Pramanas. So Jiva Goswami says, yes, there is one Praman, there is a Puran, it is Srimad Bhagavatam, the emperor of all Praman, because it fulfills the sage criteria. So what are the sage criteria? That Srimad Bhagavatam is available on earth in its complete form, so no part is missing, and it is based on Vedanta Sutra that Jiva Goswami will prove later. It presents the essence of all the Vedas, Itihasas, and Puranas, and it is without human origin, so it has all those characteristics. So let us read it. I think only, okay, 4 pages now. Matsya Puran chapter 53 specifies the number of verses in each Puran And okay, so one more thing. I think tomorrow morning, I mean after uh, 12 hours, yeah, not even 12 hours. I'll sleep and I'll wake up at 5 o'clock. So it's like after 6 hours, right? When I wake up, if you want, we can study again because tomorrow you don't have Tamil class. Today evening time you don't have Tamil class. So
Today is
after,
Saturday, no, Prabhu. Yes, today
yeah,
Saturday we are having, Prabhu. Sunday only we are not having.
or no, today, n- no. So I am telling about after six. So do you have the Tamil class after 7 hours?
Yes, Prabhu.
After, wait, today is Tamil class. How many days a week you have?
Monday to Saturday.
Oh, Tamil class we have 6 days in a week.
Yes, Prabhu. Monday to Saturday.
Oh, but I believe that last week Saturday we read it, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Last week Saturday we haven't. No, Prabhu. We haven't read.
I think we read it last week Saturday. Yeah.
Um, I don't know, Prabhu.
Oh, so you have 6 days in a week because earlier I thought you had 5 days in a week.
No, no, 6 days, Prabhu. The same like English class also.
Okay. So you have from Monday. You said from Monday to
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. 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 So what time you have?
Uh, I think so. Around 7:30, Prabhu. Seven
Oh, okay,
thirty.
okay. I got it now. I got it now. Yeah. So it gets over at 7:30. So I remembered. So last day we started reading at 7:30. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it. So basically, if you finish your dinner by 7:30, or if you make your dinner by 7:30, and then we can read from 7:30 to 8:30, and then you can eat your dinner, or you
Yes,
can.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. But don't know. Sometimes Guruji is starting at 7:30. Sometimes he is starting at 8:30.
Oh, so Guruji starts at 7:30.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Sometimes he changes the time usually, Prabhu.
Oh, no, no, no. Sorry. I remembered. Sorry, I remembered. So I got up at 5 o'clock, which is 6:30 for you. So
Hmm.
last time we read from 6:30 to 7:30. We read
Yes, yes,
last
yes,
time.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
Yes,
that's right.
before the class, and when Guruji started the class, then you joined the class. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So shall we read today at 6:30?
Yes. Yeah, we'll read. We'll
Okay,
read.
Prabhu.
So before half an hour, you just give me a message because if I when I wake up, I'll see your message and
Okay,
yeah,
Prabhu.
even if I feel sleepy, also I am so much interested in reading this book. So even if I feel sleepy, if I see your message, I will again wake up. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, earlier days on Saturday morning, I used to have Bay Area syndrome. So Bay Area syndrome means all day you work very hard. So on Saturday, you feel your body is paining and you wake up late.
Mm.
But now since I'm reading this book with you, so I'm so excited that on Saturday also I don't get Bay Area syndrome. Like I feel very excited to read this book in the
Mm-hmm.
morning.
So this various syndrome is
Okay,
good or bad, Prabhu?
it is bad. Basically, like Saturday morning, everyone gets up late here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Commentary: Matsya Puran, chapter 53, specifies the number of verses in each Puran and describes the benefits of donating each of the Puranas on special days. In that same chapter, Sutta Goswami speaks 2.5 verses containing a formula for dividing the Puranas into three classes, according to which one of the three gunas of primordial nature they predominantly embody. Okay. These three classes of Purana glorify various deities, and commentators often try to establish their own favorite among these deities as supreme, arguing on the basis of logic and apparently conclusive scriptural references. Right? So Shiva Puran will say Shiva is supreme. Yeah, like
Mm.
that. One consequence of this partiality is that commentators tend to denigrate Puranas belonging to a category different from their own. Proponents of Tamasika Puran tend to reject the authority of the Rajasika and Satvika Puranas, and proponents of Rajasika and Satvika Puranas likewise reject the Puranas outside their group. But there cannot actually be several absolute truths. Therefore, the question of which Purana deity is the one supreme truth remains to be settled. Because Shiva Purana will say Shiva is supreme, and it will show that Vishnu is praying to Shiva.
Mm.
For the unbiased seekers of truth, Srila Jiva Goswami demonstrates how to resolve the matter. He explains that the perspective disclosed through the guna of luminosity and perpetual being sattva. So sattva perspective is clearly superior to that presented through the gunas of conditional being, rajas, and ignorance, tamas, as Sri Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita. So sattva, as Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita, so sattva is clearly superior to rajas and tamas. From the guna of perpetual being sattva, real knowledge develops. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada mohau tamoso bhavato jnanam evacha. From the guna of perpetual being sattva, real knowledge develops. From the guna of conditional becoming rajas, only greed develops from rajas. And from the guna of material stasis tamas develops negligence, delusion, and ignorance. So we can understand that from sattva, like real knowledge develops. So the Sattvic Puranas, which will appeal to them, uh, appeal to Sattvic people, are the best. Yes. Now, okay. Now,
So,
Srimad
Prabhuji, so
Bhagavatam also states.
this gunas will not show Krishna as a supreme, right, Prabhu? It will show other gods, other demigods as a supreme, right?
Gunas will what?
This
No, no.
gunas.
So Sattva Guna Puranas will, this Sattva Guna, they will say that Vishnu is supreme.
So this Rajoguna and Tamoguna will show other demigods and devas as the supreme, right?
Right, right. So Rajoguna will say that Brahma is supreme. Tamoguna will say that Shiva or Durga is supreme. And the mixed gunas will, like it was referring to Saraswati and Agni, but here Saraswati means the various uh, demigod glorified by Saraswati, and Agni refers to the Vedic rituals. So it will tell that they are supreme. If you do this ritual, you get this, and this is the best. Or if you worship this Indra, Chandra, Varuna, you get this, like that. Okay. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam also states that conditional becoming means basically rajas is superior to stasis means tamas. Stasis means static. Static means like people is not doing anything, right? So that is called stasis, like tamas. But perpetual being sattva is better yet because it can lead to direct, unmediated vision of the absolute truth. It can lead to, like sattva doesn't give, it can lead to direct vision, unmediated vision of the absolute truth. So unmediated means without the condition. Basically, it says that rajas is superior to tamas, but sattva is even better than rajas because it will lead to direct vision of Krishna without conditioning. This verse follows a passage in which Sutta Goswami is explaining which form of worship yields the ultimate good. His opinion is that one can achieve the ultimate good only by worshipping Sri Krishna, the complete personification of unadulterated being, Vishuddha Sattva. Yes, so it is very clear that Sattvic Puran. The citation from Matsya Puran in the previous Anucheda states that the Sattvic Puranas glorify Lord Hari, Krishna. By contrast, the Rajasika and Tamasika Puranas recommend worship of other deities. Such worship embodies the perspective of the lower gunas of nature, and hence is not by its inherent nature directed toward immediate realization of the absolute truth. So from Rajas and Tamas, we cannot have realization of absolute truth. That's the point. Thus, one can tell which guna a Purana embodies by taking note of the deity it recommends for worship. Another way, so if it says that worship Durga, we understand it is in embodies tamas. And if it says recommends worship Brahma, we can understand it embodies rajas. And if it says to worship Hari, we understand it embodies sattva. Another way to tell is by how it commences. So now it's important. How it commences means how the Purana start. In the Satvik Puran, a questioner will approach a learned speaker and inquire from him about the absolute truth. So somebody will go to a sage and inquire from him about the absolute truth. He won't say that, tell me about Krishna or tell me about Vishnu. He will say that, tell me about absolute truth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The questioner may ask the speaker to elaborate on the nature of ultimate reality. So, what is the ultimate truth? The supreme path of transcendence for all. The ultimate benefit a human being can aspire for. So, he will have very broad questions.
Mm-hmm.
How one should prepare for death or similar topics. So the topic itself is a very broad topic. So that's how the Purana will start. And
Mm-hmm.
such questions will allow the
Satvik Purana,
speaker of
right
the
now,
Purana.
Prabhu?
Sorry?
Satvik Purana.
Yes, Satvik Puran. Yes, yes. So Satvik Puran won't go and say that, oh, tell me about Krishna. He won't say. He will say, tell me about the absolute truth. Like, I am about to die. So what should a person do before dying? So it's very broad topic. So when you ask some broad topic, then the speaker can tell like what he thinks is the best. Like, if you ask the speaker that what is best for me, you tell me, then the speaker may have all the knowledge, but he will tell what is best for you. Such questions then allow the speaker of the Purana full freedom to explain these topics. The speaker who is self-realized, free from all gross and subtle material desires, and concerned only with the welfare of the inquirer, and those who will hear the discourse, either in the present or in the future, then replies with answers that are specific and unambiguous. So he can tell specific and unambiguous, leaving no room for misinterpretation or confusion. So if you ask him what is good for me, then he will tell you what is good for you. Examples of such Satvika Puranas include Padma Puran, Vishnu Puran, and most prominently Bhagavat Puran or Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Like for example, if a student comes and asks me that, okay, like I am graduating, or like I am writing board exam class 12, so what is good for me? Then I can tell him that, okay, you study computer science, it will be good for you. But on the other hand, if on the other hand, the student just say and come and say that, oh, I am interested in civil engineering, tell me how I will get interested, how will I get entrance? Then I have to just tell him that, okay, how to get entrance in civil engineering. I can't tell him how to get entrance in computer engineering. So the question has to be broad-minded, broad. So in
Yes.
the Rajasika and Tamasika Purana, however, the questions inquire about limited topics related to conditional becoming and material status. So that's how the Rajasika and Tamasika Purana become. Like if you say that, okay, tell me how I should get a good wife, I'm not getting any wife, or tell me how I should get a good like wealth. That's how it will start, which do not address the ultimate concern of life related to eternal or timeless being. That's how they become, right? For example, in Linga Puran, the sages of Naimi Sharanya asked Suta Goswami to narrate the glories of Linga, Lord Shiva. So they go approach a sage and say, okay, tell me about Lord Shiva. So the sage has to say about Lord Shiva, right? He cannot say about Krishna, right? If you go and tell him that, ask him that, tell me about Lord Shiva, so sage will tell about Lord Shiva only. He can't speak about Krishna. But if you go and tell him that, okay, what is good for you, tell me, then he can tell you what is good for you. Although Suta Goswami has fully realized the absolute truth and is perfectly competent to explain it, the questions here restrict him to speaking on the particular topic of Linga. He is not requested to explain the deeper meaning of life, since all Rajasika and Tamasika Puranas share this inherent shortcoming. They cannot be reliable sources of knowledge about the essential topics of Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. Yes. The Puranas were arranged according to the different gunas in correspondence with the various desires and psychological dispositions of conditioned human beings. The Puranas were arranged according to the different gunas in correspondence with the various desires and psychological dispositions of conditioned human beings' desires. Nevertheless, every Puran somewhere contains
So,
glorification
Prabhuji,
of
what is
Sri.
that psychological disposition means what, Prabhu?
Psychological disposition means that was like psychology, like mental disposition, like what we like. Somebody will like Vishnu, somebody will like Shiva, somebody will like Devi. Psychological dispositions of conditioned human beings. Nevertheless, every Puran somewhere contains glorification of Sri Hari, the absolute truth. Srila Vedavyas included this glorification so that while hearing or reading the Tamasika and Rajasika Puranas, even persons situated in the lower material gunas could be offered the possibility of having their consciousness turned toward its ultimate complete source, Bhagavan. So he did that thing. Someone might object that the statement cited above concerning the classification of the Puranas according to the gunas does not itself come from a Sattvic Puran. We can say, right, that it comes from Matsya Puran, and Matsya Puran is in the mode of ignorance. So how can you take it from the Matsya Puran? Because Matsya Puran classifies the Puranas into three categories. And Matsya Puran says that Puranas are classified. And Matsya Puran itself is in Tamoguna. So how can you understand that Matsya Puran is giving you the correct understanding? This is a valid question, right?
Yes, Prabhu. So, once again, can you able to repeat the question, Prabhu?
See, the question is that who is telling that Puranas are in three categories?
Which thing
Yeah,
is
yeah. Which Puran says that Puranas are in three categories? So it is said in Matsya Puran. Okay. Matsya Puran says that Puranas in three categories. Okay. So in which category does Matsya Puran belong to? Matsya Puran is a Tamasic Puran. Okay. So if Matsya Puran is a Tamasic Puran and we have to understand from Sattvic Puran, so how can we take this quotation from Matsya Puran as a correct statement? Right?
Yes.
So he will answer. Someone might object that the statement cited above concerning the classification of the Puranas according to the Gunas does not itself come from a Sattvic Puran and so should not be taken as authoritative. We reply that this classification is supported by numerous other statements as well, including some from Sattvic scriptures such as Padma Puran, which we have already cited in the previous Anucheda. Okay. Nor is it true that the Puranas in the lower gunas contain no valid knowledge at all. Rather, they provide some insight into absolute reality. What to speak of the insight they give into lesser topics? So they are also, it's not that they are totally bad. Like they also have some insight into absolute reality, but they won't glorify Vishnu so much. That is the point. And other topics, they will give good knowledge only. In addition, no statement in the Vedic literature specifically contradicts the verses cited here, classifying the Puranas according to the gunas of nature. And so we are left with no compelling reason to doubt the authenticity of this classification. So that is the point. Because there is no other statement which contradicts it, so we can accept it. From this analysis, we can conclude that in our quest for the ultimate Shabda Praman, we need to consider only the Sattvic Puranas. As Padma Puran states, Sattvika Moksha Da Roktaha. The Puranas that embody the guna of perpetual being, Tattva, are said to directly award liberation. So it will lead to liberation, directly award liberation, because we are glorifying Lord Hari. But even the Sattvic Puranas have been understood in many different ways by great thinkers. They have understood it in different ways. Some interpreters have found that they glorify the path of yoga as ultimate. Others have concluded that they recommend bhakti as the highest path. And yet others have found that they promote the path of jnana, knowledge as supreme. So even the Sattvic Purana, somebody will say that yoga like meditation is supreme. Somebody will say that bhakti is supreme, and
Mm.
somebody will say that jnana, knowledge, is supreme. So what will you do? Again, you are confused.
Mm.
For this reason, Srila Jiva Goswami proposes the Vedanta Sutra as a possible basis of reconciliation. So after writing the Purana, the Vyas wrote Vedanta Sutra to summarize. So he said, okay, maybe we can read the Vedanta Sutra. As stated earlier, there are four Vedas divided into four parts. The Upanishad being the fourth of these. Like there are four Vedas, and each Veda is divided into four parts, like Brahman, Aranyaka, Samhita, and Upanishad. So the Upanishad being the fourth of this. The Upanishad encompass the essential meaning of the Veda. So the essential meaning is given in the Upanishad and are thus called Vedanta. So these Upanishads are called as Vedanta. The Upanishad, however, also apparently contain contradictions. To solve this problem, Vyasadeva wrote the Vedanta Sutra, also called the Brahma Sutra, in which he incorporates the essential understanding of the Vedas and the principal Upanishads. So he wrote the Vedanta Sutra. So if we study the Vedanta Sutra, then we can understand. If we study the Vedanta Sutra, then we can understand the meaning. So this is the intended meaning.
But say Jiva Goswami didn't say the answer, right answer, right? So which one is the ultimate? Neither the bhakti or jnana or the yoga.
Yeah. He didn't say. Yeah, in this Anuched, he didn't say which one is
But in
ultimate.
Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says
It will come
bhakti
later.
is the supreme, right? No.
Actually, later we'll find that jnana is in. Right. Bhakti is the supreme. Yes.
So what you said, Prabhu? Jnana is the superior. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
No. I didn't say jnana is superior.
Just now
No.
something you said.
I didn't say. No. What I said is that like like some of the Puranas will say that jnana is supreme, and some of the Sattvic Purana will say bhakti is supreme, and some of the Sattvic Purana will say yoga is ultimate. So how do we know,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
So
for
for
this
that,
reason, Srila Jiva,
Goswami says
yeah,
Vedanta Sutra you have to read concerned with the Vedanta Sutra, right?
yeah. So for this reason, Srila Jiva Goswami proposes, like he's not saying, he's proposing that maybe we can read the Vedanta Sutra as a possible basis of reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
As stated earlier, there are four Vedas divided into four parts. So each Veda, like there are four Vedas, like Rig, Sam, Yajur, and Atharva, and each Veda is divided into four parts, like Brahman, Aranyak, Samhita, and Upanishad. And the Upanishad being the fourth of this, the Upanishad encompass the essential meaning of the Vedas. They are considered as the cream of the Vedas and are thus called Vedanta Upanishad. The Upanishad, however, also apparently contain contradictions in the Upanishad. To solve this problem, Vyasadeva wrote the Vedanta Sutra. To solve this problem, also called the Brahma Sutra, in which he incorporates the essential understanding of the Vedas and the principal Upanishads are there in the Vedanta Sutra. Okay. Now, what is the problem? But we must also consider that the dedicated followers of other sages who wrote philosophical sutras, such as Gautam and Patanjali, might not accept the conclusions of Vedanta Sutra. Even if the followers of other philosophers could be somehow convinced to enlarge their stance by logical proof of the greater authority of Vedanta Sutra, the situation is still problematic. So, what is the problem if you study Vedanta Sutra? The sutras of Vedanta are terse and esoteric, and acharyas of various persuasions have commented on them in such a way that it is difficult to decide whose opinion agrees with that of Srila Vedavyas, the author. So the commentators have commented it like in different ways. So it is very difficult to understand like which commentary we should take. Yes, the main contenders are the adherents of Advaitavad and the Vaishnavas. So Advaitavad, Shankaracharya has his commentary, and then Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya have their commentary. And the okay, the debate between these two groups has continued for more than 1,000 years. So Shankara's followers and Madhvacharya's followers, they have been debating on Vedanta Sutra. So now what is Jiva Goswami saying? For the seekers who has come this far along the way but find himself sinking in the swampy confusion created by the various scriptures and their myriad commentators, Srila Jiva Goswami finally points out the high ground of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam has the 10 characteristics of a major Puran discussed in Anuched 56. So it has all the 10 characteristics that a Puran should have. It is transhuman in nature, apaurushaya. It is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So now Jiva Goswami will prove that Bhagavatam is the natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra. Like this is very important because by studying the Puranas we cannot understand. And after the Puranas, Vyasadeva wrote Vedanta Sutra as the summary. So maybe by studying the Vedanta Sutra we will understand. But Vedanta Sutra is very difficult. And then he wrote a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and that commentary is Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we are able to prove that Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, then it becomes very easy that okay, you study the Bhagavatam and get the knowledge. And thus constitute, so if we can prove that Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary on Vedanta Sutra, then Srimad Bhagavatam will constitute the purport of all the Vedas, Itihasas and Puranas. And Srimad Bhagavatam is available in its entirety, like no part is lost. It is respected by all Vaishnava Acharyas and many others. So they respect the Bhagavatam, including the Advaitavadis also, they respect it because it is written by Vedavyas. It is the most popular of the Puranas. Yeah, because it is most popular because many people have written commentaries. It has an intact tradition of Vaishnava commentaries. Yeah, now the important thing is that Shankaracharya didn't wrote commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. And other commentators who wrote, like, they are Vaishnavas. And it is the culmination of Srila Vedavyasa's literary output being composed in his maturity. So this we have to understand, that it is the culmination of Srila Vedavyas literary output. So what it means is that like this is the final Purana which is written by Srila Vedavyas, and we will also understand that after writing all the Puranas he was not satisfied, and then his guru Narad Muni asked him to write this Purana. So what it means is that after writing all the other Puranas, he was not satisfied, and finally he wrote this Purana, which gave him satisfaction. So which means this is like his best work, like Srimad Bhagavatam, being composed in his maturity. By establishing Srimad Bhagavatam as the last word among Vedic scriptures, Srila Jiva Goswami fulfills the will of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who accepted the Bhagavatam as the spotless Puran, the supremely authoritative text. In the next Anucheda, Jiva Goswami explains that Srimad Bhagavatam has not been composed by a mortal, so it is apaurushaya, and that it is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So that he will explain in the next section. And more details are found when we read the third book, Paramatma Sandarbha. So this is like a good end for today. And tomorrow we will understand this thing. So yeah, Anuched 19 to 26. So maybe we can just read this last page to understand that what we are going to study next. So the characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam that establish is its epistemological validity. So what are the characteristics, right? Because of which, okay, we understand that we can read Srimad Bhagavatam in order to know the Sambandha, Videya and Prayojana. So in the previous Anucheda, Srimad Bhagavatam has been shown to be Vedic in origin, meaning that it is of the same transhuman and thus trans-conceptual nature. Furthermore, it has been shown to embody the essence of the Vedas, containing their innermost meanings. As such, it is to be approached in the same manner as the Vedas, that is, as Shabda. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is Shabda. As discussed already in the previous division on epistemology, this implies the activation of a trans-phenomenal mode of knowing in consciousness. So it's a trans-phenomenal mode of knowing, means it's not the way we know material object, in which reality discloses itself through its self-revealing power of sound. So trans-phenomenal means like Krishna will disclose because the words have the power, and Krishna will disclose itself through the self-revealing power of the sound. It's not that we are understanding by our own effort, rather Krishna is disclosing himself through the power of the sound. So that power has the that sound of Srimad Bhagavatam has the power to reveal Krishna. In this case, because Srimad Bhagavatam embodies not only reality devoid of phenomenal distinction, but reality complete with its own interior plenum. So basically it says that reality devoid of phenomenal distinction means it means Brahman. Like Brahman doesn't contain any material qualities. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it doesn't only describe Brahman. Like see, Krishna has like three. Krishna has various energies, and they are categorized into three categories. So the third one is Bahiranga Shakti, like the external energy or Maya, and the second one is Tatastha Shakti, like we the Jivas, and the first one is Antaranga Shakti, or we also call as internal energy or interior energy. So which is like in the spiritual world, what spiritual world is made of his internal energy, and this material world is made of his external energy. And we, the Jivas, we are his marginal energy, and we can either choose to go to the interior or to the exterior because we are in the margin, right? So we can either, right now we are in the external energy, but we can choose to serve in the internal energy. So reality devoid of phenomenal distinction means when we realize Krishna without his energies, so it is like without any qualities. So that is called Brahman. Brahman has no quality. So Srimad Bhagavatam will not only describe this Brahman, but it will also describe the reality complete with its own interior plenum. Means basically it will describe the internal energy, like what Krishna does in the spiritual world, like what is there in the spiritual world. We don't have that knowledge in Bhagavad Gita, that what is Krishna doing in his Goloka. So Srimad
mm,
Bhagavatam will describe
mm,
the transcendental knowledge that it self reveals is identical with this complete reality known as Bhagavan. So the transcendental knowledge that is revealed in Srimad Bhagavatam, that is identical with Bhagavan. Just as Krishna's names are identical with him, so Krishna's pastimes are also identical with him. Krishna's qualities are also identical with him. Krishna's form is also identical with him. So Srimad Bhagavatam will describe his quality and pastimes and his form also, so which is identical with Krishna. The Anuchedas in this division delineate a few of the primary characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam that further specify its epistemological validity. So we have to understand what are the primary characteristics. But again, this is not merely to convince us of the Bhagavata's authority as a discursive reference text about reality. Discursive. Okay, so it doesn't mean that Bhagavatam is giving the description of Krishna. The intent rather is to actualize the possibility of the direct knowing of that reality. Like since Bhagavatam is like Krishna himself, so it has the power to give us the darshan of Krishna. It's not that it just describes about Krishna and we learn about Krishna, but rather by studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, we should get the darshan of Krishna. So the primary characteristics enumerated, such as Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra and the essence of Gayatri, function more as sutras or keys that turn or unlock consciousness to disclose their own meaning, identical with the reality they signify. So the primary characteristics of the Srimad Bhagavatam, such as it is the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, it is the essence of Gayatri. What it means is that, okay, uh, basically we need to turn our consciousness to Krishna and unlock consciousness to disclose their own meaning, identical with the reality they signify. But basically, well, like what I understood from this is that like not only it will describe Krishna, but by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, like whatever is described, we will have the darshan. Darshan means like in our heart, we should have the darshan of the past times. We should have that darshan of Krishna's form. by studying Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not that it just describes it, like it has the power to reveal Krishna, and by that revelation we can have the darshan. So tomorrow what we are going to study is that Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and it is the essence of Gayatri. So this Gayatri mantra is very important. So if we say that Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence, that Anuched 20 is the characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam. So what are the characteristics of Bhagavatam? Like how will you understand how will you identify the book Srimad Bhagavatam? And then 21 is that Srimad Bhagavatam establishes the meaning of Mahabharata. So all these things we are going to study. And then Srimad Bhagavatam 22 is the essence of all Vedic literature. So all those things. Oh, 22 is like very long. Yeah, maybe till 21 we can study, like after 6 hours, and then.
So what will be the answer, Prabhu? To read, to know Krishna more, we need more.
Answer.
We need bhakti or jnana or yoga.
The answer is bhakti.
Bhakti.
Yeah. Because jnana is in sattva guna, and this whatever yoga, meditation is also in sattva guna, and karma is in rajoguna. So only bhakti is nirguna. So
but a person who was in bhakti, okay, Prabhu, there's a way to deviate, no, Prabhu, without jnana.
Sorry, no. In bhakti,
For
he won't
example,
be deviating.
for example,
Right?
you will see, Prabhu, if a person, okay, Prabhu, in teenage or an adult stage around 25 years, he is in bhakti. Very nice bhakti. He doesn't know much about Krishna, but he has bhakti. Okay, Prabhu. It doesn't
No. See.
jnana.
No. Okay. So one thing we have to understand: there are two types of bhakti, like Shraddha. There is two types of Shraddha. So one is called Laukika Shraddha, and the second one is called Shastrika Shraddha. Okay. Like
Bhakti itself,
Laukika Shraddha.
bhakti in two types of bhakti is there, Prabhu.
No. See, that is not bhakti. Like we told about. I talked about like there are six. Uh, I mean, I told about six schools of Indian philosophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That Karma Kanda, and then Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, and Vedanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Karma Kanda, what happens? They will worship the demigod, like they will worship the devatas. They think that karma is important, and they will worship and puja. So they will worship everyone, and they will worship Vishnu also. In Karma
Mm-hmm.
Kanda, they will worship everything, and they may worship Vishnu also. Like one day they will do Satyanarayan Puja, and tomorrow they will do Shiva Puja, like puja for Shiva, and then sometimes they will do Satyanarayan Puja, they will worship Vishnu also,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, so that is like the first stage. And the sixth stage, when one comes to Vedanta, and then the Vedanta has two divisions, like Advaita Vedanta and Vaishnavism. So Vaishnavism, who is a Vedanta, he will also worship Vishnu also. Vishnu only, right?
You are saying in Advaita Vedanta, he will worship Krishna also, right?
Only, right? So in the first school, in the Karma Kanda, who worships Vishnu. Are you able to hear?
Yes, Prabhu. But your video is stuck, Prabhu. What happened?
Let me stop.
My
Let me.
internet connection is unstable.
Okay. Let me stop my video. Oh, my internet is unstable.
Yes, now it's okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that this person, like this Karma Kanda person, the Karma Kanda person doesn't have any faith in the scripture. He is just thinking that Vishnu is just like the other god, and he is worshipping. So he is in the first category. But in the sixth category of Vedanta has studied the scriptures, and he knows the conclusions of the scriptures. He knows that Vishnu is the supreme. So the difference between this guy and that guy is that this guy has like full knowledge of the scripture, and he has understood the meaning of the scriptures. So in order to be called as a bhakta, like bhakti begins with shravanam. So Shravanam means we have to understand the scriptures and understand the meaning. Like then only when we understand the scriptures, um, we will appreciate the worship of Krishna.
So that
So
understanding is
you told
jnana only,
about
no,
other
Prabhu.
persons like
So
who.
jnana means what, Prabhu? The savana means also jnana only, no, Prabhu.
Yeah. So right. So mm, like see, many times the word can be confusing because the word, different word can have word can have different meaning in different context. So when Guruji refers to the word jnana, he refers to knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. So generally jnana can means any kind of knowledge. Okay, but when we refer to jnana, sometimes in the technical sense, when it refers to jnana, then it refers to knowledge in sattva guna. That is referred to as jnana many times. So you have to see what context. Like sometimes jnana can just refer to knowledge. So in that case, knowledge of Krishna also you can refer to as jnana. But actually, like the technical definition of jnana is that knowledge in sattva guna. That is called jnana. And then knowledge about Krishna, we don't call it jnana. We call it as bhakti. So these are like the technical terms. Like the word can have different meaning. So when we say that by jnana you cannot realize Krishna, or here it says, right, that some say that bhakti and some say jnana. So when they say about bhakti means bhakti, and when they say jnana, so it means knowledge in sattva guna. They say that knowledge in sattva guna, that is the best.
Yes, I
So
understand.
so
Now
no
I
so,
understand.
yeah so knowledge of Krishna is also jnana, but we generally don't call it jnana. We call it bhakti. So you see, it is like this. Like on the, like if you see a pyramid, right? So at the bottom of the pyramid, you have karma. So karma means actions, right? Like many action. Like if I ask someone that what is Shiva doing, so somebody will say, okay, he is eating his lunch, or somebody may say that okay, he is cooking his breakfast, and somebody may see say that he is studying. Okay, so now you understand, like all these are actions. Like cooking the breakfast is an action, eating his lunch is an action, studying is action. So everything is karma, everything is action only. But out of that, this studying is special. Like studying is a special kind of action, because in studying you are acquiring knowledge, right? So all these are action, but the studying is special because studying is acquiring knowledge. So when someone is reading Bhagavad Gita book, he is also doing some action, that he is reading a book, right? But we don't call him action. We say him that he is acquiring knowledge. So this acquiring knowledge is a special kind of action, but we generally don't call it action. We give it a different category, as like knowledge. So now you can have different knowledge. Like knowledge means, like you can have a knowledge how this computer works, and you can have a knowledge that how to drive a car. And also if you are in a relationship, like uh, let's say somebody has a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So he will know that what his boyfriend likes or what his girlfriend like. He will know, right? Like for example, that somebody has a girlfriend and you want to impress the girlfriend. So he will, or let us say, like there is a girl and there is a boy who wants to impress the girl, young girl. So he will try to collect information that what the girl likes. Like if the girl may like a red rose, so this boy will try to collect the information, knowledge that what the girl like. And then based on the knowledge he has received, then he will act on it. Like if he gets the knowledge that the girl likes a red rose, then he will do some action, that he will buy a red rose and then he will give it to the girl, right? So what he does is that he gets the knowledge, and based on the knowledge he does some actions, right? But we don't say that this boy has got jnana of what the girl likes and the boy does the karma of impressing the girl. We simply say that this boy loves the girl, right?
Yes, I understand.
Right? So understood,
Yes,
right?
understood.
So
Yes,
so
yes.
so, so yeah. So what is love? So what is love? So love means the boy will have the knowledge what the girl likes, and the boy will do the actions to please the girl. So that is called love, right?
Yes.
So similarly, bhakti means we should have the knowledge what Krishna likes, and then we will perform the actions which pleases Krishna.
But I have seen many people in the real life that I said no, Prabhu. Until the age of 25, they are in, so much in love with Krishna, but they don't have that much
No,
knowledge
that is
about Krishna.
sentiment. Like so that's what I'm saying. Like whatever, when we say that we are in love with Krishna, so we should have knowledge of Krishna, and then we should do what Krishna likes. We cannot say that we are in love with someone unless we know that person and what he likes. See, for example, for example, let us say you like to eat rice, okay? You don't like to eat chapati. And then if you go to your uncle's house, and your aunt will say, "Oh, I love you very much. I love you very much," and she makes chapati for you, and you don't like to eat chapati at all. So is that love? Because if somebody loves someone, then you should, because she might like chapati very much, and then she will think that you like chapati very much, so she will make chapati for you, and she will give you chapati. So in order to love someone, first of all you should know the person, and then you should perform actions to please the person. So that is love. Otherwise it is just like an emotional, like these days people will say, right, I love you, like the girl will say to the boy, I love you, and the boy will say to the girl, I love you. And then the boy will say, okay, you love me, okay, then you make my lunch or something. Then she will say, no, 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 I am tired, I can't make it, but I still love you.
Mm.
So this love doesn't have any meaning. It is just like a lip service. Like people say, I love Krishna so much, so much. Like this is just an emotion. Because now they will say they love Krishna, and after some time they will go and watch a movie. So they will say, I love movie. And then after that they will go and eat chicken. So they will say, oh, I love chicken very much. So like that they love Krishna also. Yeah.
So the nine types of devotional service. So bhakti starts from the nine types of devotional service, right now, Prabhu? We used to discuss now the
No,
nine
no.
types.
Yeah. There are 9 types, and bhakti start with Shravanam, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So like that, there are 9 types of devotional service and bhakti. Like basically, these are the 9 types of bhakti. But generally, like one starts bhakti with Shravanam, like hearing. Hearing about Krishna is the first step in bhakti.
So only
Like everything is
by
bhakti.
only using this nine steps, we can achieve Krishna, right? We can know more about Krishna. There is no other
No,
way,
no.
right now, Prabhu?
See. By using any of the steps, one can achieve Krishna. Okay, by using, like, by if one becomes expert in any of this, he can achieve Krishna. But generally, like in our case, like bhakti starts with Shravanam. It starts with hearing about Krishna. Like if you don't know about Krishna, right? Like when we are studying in engineering college, we don't know about Krishna. So somebody has to come and tell us about Krishna, right? Because if we don't know about Krishna, how will we love him? So somebody has to come and tell us about Krishna. That okay, this is Krishna, he is supreme personality, he is Bhagavan, and he likes this, he doesn't like this. So somebody has to come and tell us about Krishna, right? So that is Shravanam. Shravanam is hearing. We have to hear about Krishna. So that's how bhakti will start, right? If you don't hear about Krishna, if you don't know what Krishna likes, then you may do some things which Krishna doesn't like. But if you don't know that Krishna doesn't like it, then we will be displeasing Krishna, right? So first we have to hear about Krishna, right?
Mm.
Okay, or let's take some material example. Okay, like let us say, like, there is one boy, he has to make some girlfriend. Okay, so how this love, or like in college, right, this romantic, how it will start. So basically the way it will start is that, like, his friend, some of his friend, he will come and say that, oh, like, some new girl has come to the college, like she is very beautiful, like that they will glorify the girl.
Mm.
And now
Mm.
when this boy hears about this girl, then he gets interested, right? That, oh, everyone is saying that this girl is very beautiful, so I must see her. And then only he will go to meet the girl. But on the first hand, if he has never seen the girl, so can he fall in love with the girl? If he has never heard about the girl, can he fall in love? So in order to fall in love, the first step is hearing. First step is hearing, that he should first, somebody should come and tell us, that girl, that, oh, some new girl has come and then she is very beautiful. or like that they have to tell her. So when he hears that thing, then he will have more interest, right? Right. So similarly, in order to progress in bhakti, first we should hear about Krishna. We should understand his glories. We should understand his qualities. So then we'll be interested, right, in Krishna. If we don't hear about Krishna, how will we be interested in him?
So the people who love unconditionally Krishna are not devotees, Prabhu.
Who love unconditionally means
With knowing about Krishna.
without knowing about any person, how can you love him? That's what, right? Your aunt will say that I love you very much, and then you don't like chapati, and then she will feed you every time you go to her house. She will feed you chapati. So how can she love you if she doesn't know you? See, without knowing about Krishna, how can you love Krishna? Okay, like there are some exceptions. Yeah, I agree that there are two paths. Like one is the path of Vaidhi Bhakti, which is rules and regulations, and another is the path of called that Raganuga Bhakti. So the people in Vrindavan, they might have some natural attraction for Krishna, that they don't know all the everything, but they might have some natural attraction. But that comes from previous life. In the previous life, they have studied everything, all the scriptures, and got the knowledge. But so to find some Raganuga Bhakta is like very rare. So and even you may find it in Vrindavan in the present context. So right now you forget about it. So right now the people who don't know anything about Krishna, who haven't read the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and they say that we love Krishna very much. So that is just an emotion. Because the same person who is saying you that we love Krishna very much, after some time he will go and watch a movie and he will cry in the movie also. In the movie there will be some emotional scene and he will cry also. Because now he will go to Krishna's temple and cry. And after that he will go to watch a movie and again he will cry there also. So it just means like he's a sentimental people. Yeah, and he will say that, oh, I love the movie also very much. He says I love Krishna. When he watches movie, he says I love movie also very much. And after movie, somebody will take him to a restaurant, and then yeah, he will eat chicken, and then he will say, oh, I love chicken also very much. So he loves everything. He loves
So,
Krishna. He loves movie. He loves chicken.
yes,
Everything.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
So how to identify the people who is sentimental, not sentimental, and how to identify the people?
Uh, see, like one thing we can understand is by their of course, like it is not easy to understand. So see if you have knowledge of scripture, then you will know like what are the qualities of devotees, so that are given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that what are the qualities of devotees. But then some qualities will be that uh, that kind of people, like at least like you can understand from their behavior, like they will have that anartha nibritti, at least like they won't hate each other, they won't hate anyone, they will love everyone, they won't hate anyone, and they won't waste time, they won't criticize anyone, all these things. Because if somebody says
Because why I was asking is before reading Bhagavad Gita also I had a little bit of love towards Krishna, Prabhu. I used to draw Krishna's images. I used to hear Krishna's music, Krishna's songs after reading, so after seeing that Mahabharata serial and all. So that I was asking.
right,
Then after reading
see,
Bhagavad Gita, my love becomes strong. I like it becomes strong, like that I can feel, Prabhu. That not that much strong,
right,
little bit
so
strong. That's all.
see what I'm saying is that like this love is not like 0% or 100%. So in your previous life you have done performed bhakti, right? In your previous life you have performed bhakti, so you have uh, like some quota of bhakti, right? Like let us say in your previous life you have done 20%. So this life you are beginning from 21%,
Yes, 21% in the beginning.
right?
So there is a problem of
So
impediment right now, Prabhu. There is a chance to get degraded, right? From 0 to 20% we are
yes,
starting.
see what happens is
So
that
so how to avoid that chance, Prabhu? So how to get rid of that? In this life itself,
right,
we need to go to 100% means what to do.
uh, uh, Right. So basically, like this hearing and chanting, and remembering. So these are the three most important. And out of them, even like the chanting is said to be the topmost. And in chanting also, we can chant Krishna's name. We can chant his qualities. We can chant his pastimes. Pastimes means describe the pastimes or describe the qualities. And then chanting his name is said to be the most important. So right now, what we are doing is that just like studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then chanting Krishna's name. So, so that is those are like the most two important thing, and according to scriptures, and that's what Srila Prabhupada also focused the chanting on Krishna's name. So that's the basic. Yeah, that's what we are doing. Yeah, yeah. This is a very good question. Yeah, so regarding, see, many people will have that love. So that's what I'm saying. Like they will have shraddha, like based on previous thing, they will have shraddha. But if they don't read the scripture to strengthen the shraddha, then what happened is that other people will come and confuse them, and they will get out of this path. Like like somebody has likes to draw Krishna's pictures, and then he goes to college, and people will say, "Oh, you are drawing Krishna's picture. You are very outdated. You are very old. You believe in Krishna, or do you believe in all this thing, all these stories?" And if he doesn't have knowledge, then his faith will be destroyed. You can say destroyed, or at least like it will be
Mm.
suppressed for some
Yes,
time.
yes, yes, yes. Then he has to start from our
But
next life also, next only life only, bro.
yeah, and also even if you have read the scriptures also, but still if we commit some offenses, then this can be uh, like our progress can be blocked if we commit offenses, and especially like to the guru or someone. If we commit offenses, then that progress can be checked. Yeah, so that's why I was thinking like I was getting some weird dreams, and then when I woke up, Guruji called me and woke up. So I just remembered that, yeah, like I was in so many weird dreams, and then as soon as Guruji called me, I woke up. So it means like it's so importance of Guru that even if you read all these things, scriptures and everything, still you can be in Maya. Because there was one person who read the Tattva Sandarbha, and he went to Vrindavan, and earlier he was giving lectures in Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was a brahmachari. And people used to say that, oh, like he's a very strict brahmachari giving Srimad Bhagavatam lecture and everything. And then he went to Vrindavan and something happened. And then he said he found that, oh, I don't want to remain alone in life, and I want to get married, something. And then he left ISKCON, and then he got married, something, and he left bhakti basically. Earlier he liked Srimad Bhagavatam very much, but he left bhakti. So in his case, he has committed some uh, offenses. Basically, earlier he was chanting Hare Krishna 16 round, and then he thought, oh, maybe it's not important to chant Hare Krishna. If I just did Srimad Bhagavatam, that is sufficient. So if you are chanting Hare Krishna 16 round, and if you stop your chanting, so that itself is an offense. So he committed offense against the holy name of Krishna, and so many things happened.
So,
So yeah, so we have to be very, yeah. So that's why I was saying that at least for the next 2 3 years, just let us read Bhagavad Gita and or both side by side, and then Krishna will give us more knowledge and intelligence what to do. Because if we think that we are very advanced, and if we are not reading Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavad Gita, and if we just try to read the Sandarbhas, those things can happen to us also. Because after some time, if we become proud, then we will think that, oh, I know more than Guruji. Like Guruji doesn't know this thing, and I know this, and then we may do offenses, and because of offenses, our bhakti will be blocked. Because if the Guru becomes like displeased with you, then your bhakti will be blocked. So so at least like for the okay, next at least, yeah, 2 3 years, like just do both of them. And then once we get all the knowledge, once we get that, then Krishna will give us understanding. Like maybe once we get more knowledge, then we will understand that maybe Guruji is telling the right thing, but we are not able to understand. Because earlier I was not able to understand Guruji's class. Like I thought that it is boring, he's saying the same thing again and again. Now as I start to understand, read by myself and try to understand more and more, then I'll understand that, oh, Guruji sometimes, not sometimes, like all the time only, he's saying some deep things only we are not able to understand. So what I'm saying is that like many things are there, and right now we just have started reading the first Sandarbha, and we have a long way to go. So at least like for the next 1 year 2 years, just keep on, yeah, reading Bhagavad Gita and Sandarbha all together. So after some time, Krishna will give us the intelligence what to do. And even if you read Sandarbha full time, like finally when we have to go and preach to the people, we have to preach them through Bhagavad Gita only, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
people do not know the Sandarbha. If we tell them we are teaching from Sandarbha, it's not. So
Yes,
we have to
Prabhu.
understand the meaning of the Sandarbha, and that meaning will be there in Bhagavad Gita also.
Yes, yes, we can answer
So,
them.
so once we read the
We can
Sandarbha, we'll
answer.
be able
Yes,
to
yes.
teach
We can give
Bhagavad
them
Gita better.
answers. Yes, 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 Prabhu. Nice. We can give most of the answers. We can give,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
yeah, that's all.
That no.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, Prabhu. Then I'll sleep now. Then so then I'll get up after 6 hours.
Yes, Prabhu. Only one question. Last one question. So
Okay.
how
Hare Krishna.
to wait, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So how to know the offenses, Prabhu?
Okay, okay, yeah.
Is there any scriptures?
Uh, yes, yes. It is there in Padma Puran. You can type like offenses, 10 offenses to the holy name. Let me get it for you. 10 offenses. Yeah, it is ISKCON Desire Retreat is there. Yeah, I'll send you the link. Yeah, this is a very important question you asked, because it is the offenses only which blocks our. Yeah, I send you the link.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam.